and gentlemen, again, welcome to Atlanta Motorsports Park for the Championship Series Round 4. Again, my name is Steve Newbold, and eventually I'll be followed by Will Rigdon here in the booth. And currently I've got Chris Conowall, our trackside reporter. We'd just like to welcome all of you that are currently trackside. We are currently running a little bit of a delay on the stream, so we will have that up and running in just a few minutes. And actually, we are live now. So, again, welcome to Atlanta Motorsports Park Championship Series Round 4. My name is Steve Newbold, followed with Chris Conowall and Will Rigdon in the booth today.
Good morning.
Good morning is right. It's going to be a great day for racing here at the beautiful complex in Dawsonville, Georgia.
Absolutely.
Just look at that view we got of the mountains right now. There's not really much of a haze. It is going to be a hot one today, so all of our spectators that are trackside, please stay underneath that little awning we have there that's brand new. We love it.
Oh, absolutely. It is going to be a scorcher out there. Talk to me about track conditions in a situation like this.
Well, currently the air temp is currently 81 degrees. That probably puts the track temperature probably pushing about 100, 110 currently. When we hit max temp today, which is supposed to be 92 degrees according to Apple weather, because I'm not an actual weatherman. Our normal weatherman's not here today, so it's me. But we're looking at a 91 degree day today, which means that car is going to get really hot really fast. You can see a nice shot of all of our primal racing cars. It looks like we're about to get off on track and go for our pace lap to start our race today. Should be the pre-final for the first race. Let me get the results up here from qualifying real fast.
Yeah, this is a big field.
Yeah, this is way bigger than we're used to. The series is growing, and it's looking very promising.
Yeah, and there's a great shot of those beautiful condos as well.
Oh, yes.
We're going to hopefully eventually get a nice tour inside those. I'm very anxious to see inside. A couple weeks ago, we had a drone fly up and get a bird's eye view.
Oh, yes. That was, I can't remember which one that we had. Which member we had. So I'm trying to get the results here of qualifying, as nothing is really loading at the moment, and I do apologize for those of you at home. So this is according to the practice qualifying scale. So I have Oliver Piatek in the 62 car in first, Josh Rich in the 65 car. Well, hold up, that is Spec Miata. They have combined all of the classes. So
I'm anxious to know, Stephen, maybe you know, Raiden Nickel, is he back today?
I don't know if Raiden's out there today. I haven't seen him. I've seen his dad, but I'm not exactly sure if Raiden is out there today. Maybe we'll find out in a minute if you see some car start in the rear and just plowing his way all the way to the front really quickly.
Absolutely.
Raiden has been dominating the series, and he's going to go on to do amazing things in racing, and I can't wait to watch to see what he does.
For sure. And our drone pilot's doing a great job out there.
Oh, yes, definitely. Always. There's Daryl, killboy.com. And I can't remember. I think it's a Luma Cube is Jeff Farver's drone that you're getting a lot of shots from today as well.
Yeah, those nice North Georgia mountains in the backdrop there as the drivers, they're who we've got in the pace car today.
I'm not exactly sure who. Probably Rachel. I could be wrong. So I'm being informed that we are going green this time by. So, again, we are about to go green in our first race of the day. So, Chris, this is a little different for you being in here for this. Usually you're our trackside reporter for the first opening, but Will kind of appointed you to duties today to be in here with me for the start of the race.
And I'm going to enjoy all the help that you can give me for sure.
Well, as they're coming into the front stretch, about ready to open it up and see what these cars can do. They're 2x2 coming to the green flag, and it looks like we've got a green flag. I hear those throttles revving up coming into turn one. We've got 3 wide action already entering turn one. 3 wide all the way through turn one, almost 4 wide there.
Yeah, that was very clean as everybody got through.
Yes, that was.
Turn one. That shows the level of skill these drivers have in those Downforce cars.
Now here, this is our carousel corner where we're getting a pass for the lead going in on lap one. Looks like the first place driver is going to fall back to possibly third within the first quarter of a lap as we enter turn 6 on our track, which is a very difficult corner to handle. everybody's, keeping it pretty even so far out. We've got maybe a possible mechanical on a car slowing way down, entering turn 8 and turn 9. He's going to fall all the way back to the rear. So our current leader is James Long in that 67 SR10, followed by number 53 of Chris Hoon, number 3 of Greg Folger, and top 5 will be Nicholas Pearson in the 418 SR3 Radical.
James Long, that is not a name I'm familiar with, but of course I haven't been out here nearly as long as y'all. Of course, Chris Hoon, Greg Folger this season, and Blake Fabiani.
Blake Fabiani is, kind of a mainstay out here. I mean, he last year he had the issue in his spec Miata, blew the engine the first race, came through and just somehow managed to recover from that, finished third in that race. And, it's just crazy. And we were going to focus in on this group of 4 or 5 right through here coming through turn 1. Looks like one of them got a little off track there, shot up some dirt.
Yeah, Chris Hume, the pilot / race car driver / actor / whatever.
Businessman /
yeah, out in front.
We have it all at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
100%. So you see we've got SR1s, SR3s, and the SR10 of James Long. Got a great explanation of those from Tyler last time we were out here.
Yeah, he went very in-depth with the Radical race cars. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot of the technical side of the Radicals, especially the newer ones. The only Radical I've ever been in was an SR1, and that was about almost 10 years ago when they first came out here. We're still gonna follow that. I think that's our first group of 4 right there with Chris Hoon leading the way. Coming through turn 14 into turn 15.
Yeah, I don't see Greg's dad on the board today. The father-son teams.
Oh, yes.
I always like those.
Greg and Pete Folger, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I have 5 sons, so.
Oh, dear Lord.
There won't be any father-son law stuff, but definitely some great father-son racing out here and in karts, too.
Well, we've got to have a father-son race team.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like we're going to get Will Rigdon in the booth finally.
Yeah, Will. Ready to hand it
Come
off.
save us.
Yeah, sorry for feeding y'all to the wolves there.
Oh, that's fine.
Handling some technical difficulties, but we got everything squared away. And, yeah, I was actually talking to Pete Folger before the race. He was having some transmission issues with his SR3, so that is why he is currently in a rental car today with an SR1. But we have a packed field for the SR1 grid right now.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, fire out the back. Look at that. Oh, no.
That is in turn 13.
I don't even think he can see it.
Yeah, he
wow.
needs to get that car
needs
off
to come to a
track.
stop. That is not good.
Yeah, we've got a –
No, he needs to get out of that car now.
Yeah, we got a big issue going in on the 67 car. I don't know if we can – that's James Long.
No, he needs to get out.
Yeah, James needs to get out of that car as quickly as possible.
He looks like
he's unbuckling
activated the
the suppression system.
There we go. He's crawling out of the car now. I believe.
Wow, those flames were up by his head. That's got to be
might
scary.
end up being a red flag there. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, no, that car's still on fire right now.
Yes, it is.
That is still on fire. They need to stop this.
And he is signaling for.
Yeah, they need help out there now.
Yeah, that's a big incident. 67 car is up in flames. It looks like the right rear is just burning.
I would definitely step away.
Yeah,
from
he
that
needs to get away
vehicle.
from that car. I mean, he can't hear us because we're up by the building, but he needs to get away. He's on the side of the track.
Yeah, that is a definite red rescue. Needs to come out there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, all cars are coming to a stop. There they go. I can see them headed into the carousel now.
Yeah, we will definitely need to address that at the next drivers' meeting. You get away from that car.
Yeah, that thing's that's a first here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. I don't think I've ever seen that. We've got medical displayed and red flag displayed. So again, that is a major incident in the 3rd or 4th lap of this pre-final in turn 13.
Yeah, we have in 4 seasons we have not seen a car go up in smokes like that. That is wild.
That is SR10, is that right?
Yes, and it is. Oh wow, it's catching now. He needs to get away from that. Oh, wow. Yeah, and you could probably see the smoke from the building here coming up. This is all the way in the back side of the track, so you guys sitting on the balcony can't see this.
You might be able to see it if we can get the
Should.
live feed to pull up on the big screen out here.
Oh, it is completely engulfed.
Yeah,
now.
that car is completely engulfed. That is the first. I have never seen that at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Man, this is intense. This is crazy. I've never seen this.
I'm just thankful that driver got out of the car as quickly as he did.
That is absolutely wild. Man, I'm just glad that he got out of that car as quickly as he did. And unfortunately, it looks like that car is going to be a complete loss just from looking at it right there. Unfortunately, I have to say that, we are getting great drone shots of this vehicle burning, and I normally wouldn't say that, but looks like we got Red Rescue finally out there to
I don't know that they're going to have the firefighting equipment to
handle that. That's a major issue.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that again the driver. There we go. Red Rescue is already on it, getting that car put out as quickly as possible. But man, that's a first here at AMP. I've never seen that.
Interesting. Will spotted. It looked like it was coming out of the exhaust pipe to begin with. And
well,
then
it looks like it started off as a slight misfire when he was coming into turn 10. I noticed he kind of backed off it a little bit, and then he just kind of stepped out. And
it looked like he activated the
fire suppression system very quickly. So I mean, that's crazy.
Whatever it was, it just kept getting probably a fuel line.
I think you could see the black smoke rising from over here at the start finish line. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. Again, great response by our team here at AMP, the Red Rescue crew, the safety crew, all those guys, and.
And there's James Long. Just, of course, looks like he's completely okay. That's
the main priority here. Cars are replaceable, drivers are not.
Yeah.
And that's the SR10, I believe. I don't know if we can get a replay of that. We don't know exactly. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
There's a replay. I mean,
you see the fuel leaking out the back. On the ground, you see the trail of fire behind it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he even realized what had happened. I don't know if he blew a fuel line or what, but man.
Yeah, you can see the streak in the grass there where it was definitely dropping fuel and it was burning there along that.
Yeah, they're still out there putting it out. I mean, they did a great job of response time considering they're having to come a decent way.
Yeah, that's probably the farthest spot on track.
Yeah, that from any
worker.
entrant. Yeah, and I mean,
well, they've got the corner worker right there at the black flag station. That's where you see that one silver can down there. I'm sure they spent that immediately. But with a fuel fire like that,
that's just wow. Will, again, we've been sitting here talking. We've never seen this here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
We've seen cars in trees. We've seen cars in the beach. We have not seen cars
in trees, carts upside down. We've seen all kinds of stuff, but this is a very first time seeing this. And
well, hats off to the safety team for getting out there and getting that extinguished.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll get a interview with James Long when he gets back in. And
man, this is wow. I don't even have words right now, Will. Do you have any words?
Was that the SR10?
That was the SR10.
So he was out here last week at SCCA. He was the winner in SR10 for SCCA last week.
Oh, my Lord.
So he made it through all of last week just fine.
I have no words as to what could have possibly happened.
I mean, on days like this, when it's this hot, there's no telling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was a ruptured fuel line or I don't want to speculate, but that would be my first guess considering there was a trail of fire behind him.
Yeah, Tyler was just in here. He was behind me, and I was talking to him briefly. He said that was the fuel tank side.
Okay, so there was an issue in the fuel lines more than likely then.
Yeah, do you see? You can look all the way up in the corner is where the black line starts. So
yep, you could see it actually on track.
It looked like it started as he was downshifting coming into the turn. That thing backfired a little bit, and it just went up in flames.
Well, he did kind of go off pace entering turn 10, coming back up that hill or down the hill into turn 11 is where he really started losing pace. And then it was kind of a pop situation, and then you saw the spark. You saw the flames come out from underneath the car, and boom, we've got massive fire.
probably get another replay even.
Yeah, can you guys throw that replay up one more time so the
further
guys
back
on the balcony can see it?
We'll do our forensic interview right here.
So, I mean, it just went straight up into flames. For those on the balcony,
you could see the fuel on the grass right there.
Yeah,
so it's definitely
already
spitting fuel.
It's already burning.
See, he wasn't aware at that point.
He had no clue that it was burning.
Sure,
he was just seeing heavy smoke, and then he saw
there,
the black smoke and went, "Oh God!"
Right there is when he was aware.
That's when he hits the fire suppression right there because it
Yeah.
dies down for just a minute.
I'm sure he lost all the hair on the back of his neck. That hopefully he's okay.
This is going to be a long, lengthy cleanup, so we're probably going to be under red flag conditions for a little while. Looks like we're getting all the
they got to make sure that's
safety
out.
equipment.
They're not going to put that on the back of the truck till they make sure it's out.
Yeah, they're sitting there poking it right now, trying to make sure everything's out. Man, it's already been a wild race day, and we're just getting started. See, this is what happens when Lil hands it off to me to begin with. We get all the fun stuff to happen.
We were running around trying to tackle some technical gremlins. I said, here, you guys just take care of it, and this is what happens. But that's a shame to have this happen, especially to a car. I'm made aware he just purchased this car, too.
Oh, man, that makes it even worse.
And I don't think they have the same bumper-to-bumper warranties that you get
with a standard car.
Yeah, like you would on a Chevy or a Toyota Corolla. Speaking of Corollas, you going to come out tomorrow, Steve?
I'm not, since you didn't do it last time. I went out there and praised Dale and
look, we were at the end of a 7-hour broadcast. I did not have it in me to go do some laps, but we are going to be back out here tomorrow for the autocross event. We've got that big AXS event, and actually going to be running on the track just south of where these guys are at right now. Oh, that's.
Sorry for all the staticky there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sitting trackside, that got kind of staticky. But, wow, I'm still at a loss for words for this. I've never seen this happen before at this track.
Yeah, you see it definitely concentrated to that, rear right-hand side where the fuel tank is, apparently, according to Tyler. So
they're just making sure that whole thing's out. Because, I mean, that's absolutely wild.
Now, Chris, have you ever dealt, you're an attorney. Have you ever dealt with car fire litigation before?
I actually have, as it were. And so I was minding my P's and Q's as I sat here. But, yeah, I'm there's something in the law called a spoliation letter that they'll want to send out to preserve that video right there. I'm sure people will be anxious to know what the cause of that fire was, whether it was.
If I had to guess, again, this is probably more speculation than anything. I'd say it was a ruptured fuel line. It got too hot, and spark. That's all it's going to take.
Right, for sure. But again,
fire is definitely scary, and that's what's wild. We put in all these EV chargers, and the biggest thing they kept saying to us was, "Well, what are you going to do about the fires? What are you going to do about fires?" Well, we've got a response team, obviously, and what's crazy with the EVs is you can put as much water on them as you want, they'll keep burning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to – EVs are going to be completely honest here.
Happy little
EVs are very flammable.
But the training our team has been through to tackle the EVs has definitely made them better at getting any fire put out quickly. And, one of the things with the EVs they say is, drag it off track because it'll melt a hole in the asphalt.
Yes.
And then basically get out there with a big bucket of sand
and
or
toss
a fire
it on
blanket,
there.
and you got to smother it.
So it looks like we are going to pull all the cars in and go under a strict red flag while we do this cleanup. I'm not exactly sure how long this is going to take.
Yeah, this is going to get the drivers out so they're not baking out there in the cars.
Chris, this would probably be a good time to go talk to some of these guys that might have seen this firsthand. So Chris is going to hop out there, and once the drivers get out of the cars, hopefully they can turn the ignitions off and hop out and cool off a little bit, because it is a scorcher out here today. It's supposed to be the high is 91. It's currently 82, but it definitely feels like it's 1,000 degrees out there.
Yeah, no, I would not want to be sitting in one of these cars, let alone sitting in one of them on fire.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it's on fire just walking outside right now.
Yeah.
This is definitely our hottest race day of the year so far. And yeah, I don't know how you blow that birthday candle out. That was
I don't know if I'd call that a birthday candle. That's more like I'm gonna go home and cry for a couple hours.
yeah, especially if you just bought that thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I have no words for what just happened.
Yeah, I would think priorities would be like your house on fire and then your race car on fire would be, what would get you to cry the most? Because
race car on fire, I think I would hurt more.
So
you'd rather
see all your possessions go up in
That's
smoke.
fine. That's fine as long as the race car's on. Nope. Race car.
I can respect that.
Race car. It's that old saying, you ain't first, you're last. I'm sticking to that.
Yeah, that's tough luck.
Man.
And no matter how much we ramble up here, it's not going to make it any better. And you hate to see it.
I feel for that driver. I mean, that especially if he just bought that car. I mean, man, that's got to hurt.
Well, that's why. I mean, that explains why he's jumping up and down, he's waving at the drone, waving at anybody to come save his baby, and that's
man. So if we could stop the drone right here, we can actually look at the back quarter panel of where that fuel assembly is on the right-hand side of the car. From what we're being told, that's the area where you can actually see.
Now these are so what we're looking at are SR1. So the SR3 right here is a better representation because you see that little hatch right there on the door. That's where the fuel pod is. That's where the fuel line goes in, and that's obviously that was the side of the car that went up on that SR10.
Yeah.
And it was the other reason it's fairly new was it still had a pretty white livery on it.
Oh yeah, that's something that doesn't last very long.
Hadn't had time to get it wrapped yet. There's Chris.
Chris, you kind of had a front row seat for all that. Maybe we can.
Glad to see Chris got his livery updated after last season.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He had that the Richard camouflage paint job on there for a while.
Yeah.
That was a fun prank by his garage mates.
I think if I was going to prank somebody, I would probably do some crazy, like, old-school NASCAR scheme.
There was over 800 die-cut Johnson stickers.
Oh, my Lord.
All over that.
He
had just taken delivery on it, and he was flying in from Chicago, and his garage mates who were local got to it first.
That always makes it fun. Looks like we're handing out water bottles here to the drivers.
And I'm assuming, they're going to keep them here on grid and in cars.
Now they're sitting there throwing up the sign of no.
Well, we didn't even make it halfway, so I don't think they're going to call the race, even though this is an extended red flag.
Yeah, they're still displaying red on the track as far as I can see. So again, to recap, for those of you that are just now joining, we are under red flag conditions here at Atlanta Motorsports Park after the number, I believe is the number 97, went up in flames in turn 13.
And then you can see John Pearson right there. He's talking to his son, Nicholas, right there. I was talking to him before the race as well. Interesting fact about him, he is actually an offensive lineman at Georgia Tech right now. So he is quite the unit off the track and on the track. And I swear every time I see Nick, he's putting on about another 20 pounds of muscle mass. But he started playing football at Kentucky. Now he transferred to Georgia Tech. So
and why would you want to transfer? So again, we're gonna show a replay of what happened. Again, we were under red flag conditions because the 67, not the 97, went up in flames. That is an SR10 Radical in turn 13 at Atlanta Motorsports Park. So again, we are under a red flag for an extended period of time as we get this cleaned up.
And these SR10s are still fairly new too. They just came out.
There we
last
go.
Season.
We're just now getting it up on the. Ooh man. And we're gonna get
I know engineering's gonna wince every time they look at that patch of grass for the next few weeks.
Yeah, that grass is gone.
Wow, it'll be extra green here in about a month once it grows back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Carbon fiber, makes grass grow really, really great. That's a trick. They don't teach you that in school.
Oh, is he? They are delicately putting that Radical on the back of the rescue truck.
Still hosing it down one more good time.
Yeah, you just got to make sure.
Yeah. And I think they just went through 5, 6 extinguishers right there, not including the water truck. So only knows how many
And I will say this, it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, yes, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Just the helpless feeling up here in the booth, too, because you see him in the car, you see the flames going around his head.
Yeah.
And he's just waving at the corner worker because he doesn't know he's on fire.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure the second that went up behind him and singed those hairs in the back of his neck, he probably – because that was when we saw him hit the fire suppression.
Yeah, because he went, oh, Lord, that's bad. And, again, that's absolutely –
Well, the other scary thing is he got out of his car and started jumping up and down on the side of the track, and that you don't want to see that either because what if there's a car that hasn't seen the red flag yet?
Oh, yeah.
Come cooking through turn 13 there. That's another big concern.
You know, a great leeway there, cooking. We got our rolling fuel for the body food truck out here. Pretty sure they've got pork. Let's zoom in on that menu one more time. Let's see what they got
that's
today.
the Smokehouse Q. That's actually our food truck.
Oh, okay.
So
I forget
that's
that we
the
have
AMP.
the official AMP food truck.
The
So
AMP food truck.
pork sandwiches, beef brisket, chicken sandwich, sausage sandwich, fries, potato salad, chips, soda,
Get you some tater salad.
peach lemonade.
Ooh, you're making me hungry.
I am hungry. That's why I'm talking about food. And we're still loading up this car. Again, this is going to be a long extended red flag period. So they might actually.
Well, once they get him off track and they get the lull off track, we should be able to go back. Assuming the grass looks like it's put out, but as long as there's no other fires out there, then they should be able to get back underway fairly soon. Yeah, it looks like the
strap got melted.
It looks like the strap, it got a little toasted.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah.
I wonder if it's still on fire. Yeah, 'cause it looks like it's.
I'd probably put that thing out one more good go. Just let it soak. Man, that's wild. Again, I've never seen that.
I feel like we're in the chopper for a Los Angeles police chase. You know, Chris got to do it last year when we did the Amped Up event. Hopefully, going to get to do it again this year.
Wait, hold up. So we're going to strap a mic to Chris and put him in a helicopter?
That would be awesome, but
we'll
pretend he's in there.
Fortunate son
blaring. You can make the noises.
Fortunate son blaring in the background.
Yeah, here, come put the headset back on, Chris. We're filling time right now. Chris had that great call. I was in stitches last year during that Amped Up event. We did we had the SWAT takedown, and you're sitting here calling it just like an LA police raid. That was so funny. And then the DJ also was in on it as well. Started playing Who Let the Dogs Out as soon as they let the dog out to go chase the suspect. But the whole time we're sitting there watching the drone feed, calling it, and it was very reminiscent of those old school LA police chases.
I watched a lot of 80s crime drama, 90s crime drama. So yeah, but what a great event you guys put on, Will.
And we are coming back at it. I was going to wait till later in the show to announce to everybody, but August 17th we are going to be back. Amped Up, we just officially announced it last week, and it's our big off-the-streets event that we have. The whole goal is to get teens, youth, you don't even have to be a teen, you young adults in your 20s.
Young adults.
If you just like making noise and burning rubber, this is the event you should probably come to. Because the whole goal is to get people off the streets, get them, practicing motorsport in a safe environment. And obviously incidents like this is why you need to do it in a safe environment. Because imagine something like this happens in the middle of an intersection, your car catches on fire, what do you do?
Yeah, there's no stopping that. Maybe when looks like we're going to get all these cars in.
It looks like they're coming back in now, so I think they are going to
they're done. I think they're.
That is.
Wow.
Crappy way to end race number one for these guys. I know they were all excited. We had a little bit of an extended break between May and June. I know a lot of these guys were eager to get back in the cars. We're going to have another break between this month and August. So after this race, we won't be back for another 6 weeks. August 3rd will be the next main track race day. And I think Chris is going to go ahead and head outside.
And
now that the drivers are out of their cars, we'll see if we get a word with a couple guys.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they scored this as a finish. I'll have to get a word with our race director, Sean Hayes. I'm assuming they just went ahead and called it, so whoever was in first at the incident, at least in terms of points.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what they're going to end up doing. Wonder if we have the
yeah, you can see the fire team's reeling back up. They've got that pail of chemical douser there that helps put out some of these fuel fires.
Yeah, we're getting word with
Who does that look like over there? Is that a Folger?
I can't. Yeah, there's a Folger over there.
I see Mason over there. I would get a word with somebody here.
Yeah. Probably get some. I would like to get a word with. I'm not sure who that driver was of the 67 car. Give me just a second and I'll do some research here.
Yeah, 67 was James Long.
Yes,
And,
maybe we can get that word with Mr. Long.
And, of course, I was looking for Chris Hune. Here he is. Chris out in front. Here's a headset, Chris. Let's
And real quick before you go, Chris, all Spec Miata, all Spec E30, please make your way to the grid. All Miata, all Spec E30. Go ahead and make your way to the grid. All right, take it away, Chris.
Yeah, I'm here with Chris Hune. And, Chris, you were out in front there and, got some firsthand views of that SR10, the 67 car of James Long. What, if anything, did you see as you guys were heading in turn 13 there?
I didn't actually see a thing.
You were out front by then, huh?
Yeah, I was out gapped a little bit, and he was helping me out, with traffic behind. And then I didn't know what happened. Saw the red flag, stop, and then I noticed Greg behind me. So got some help from the radio saying, yeah, there's fire in the back section. That's pretty much all I knew until I came here and I saw on the screen there. Wow, that's pretty significant.
Oh, yeah. So when you go back and check out YouTube, the footage there, you see as he heads into turn 13, it almost looked like a fire in the tailpipe, like a backfire, but then a trail of fire is behind him. And the driver, James Long, it didn't seem like he even knew he was on fire until the flames went around his head, and then we'll put the replay. Yeah,
Sorry,
Chris, if you want to
Chris.
come right over here. Sure.
Chris,
No.
for just a second, need to make an announcement. Spec Miata to grid. Again, Spec Miata to grid.
Okay, so here you go, Chris. So you see here on the screen, he's there, and he's just sort of waving that he's okay, and it looked like he didn't even see the flames. And then of course, you would naturally feel the heat from that, and he gets out of the car, and he does activate the fire suppression system. But anyway, so what from a driver's perspective, that's sort of a worst case scenario, minus an accident, of course.
Well, I'm glad he's okay. That's why we got all this safety gear, these, fire bottles, fire suits, so everything worked the way it was supposed to, except maybe the car catching on fire.
For sure. So they called this race, is that right? And so we'll see you back again. I wonder how they'll, as far as the pole works, will you get the pole in the next race?
Yeah, I think it's finishing order. So I think, how we came in is finishing order.
Excellent. Well, always great to see you out here. I'll let you get in out of the sun and cool off there. Any last or any shout-outs you'd like to make to family, friends?
Just thanks to the wife who came here and helped me on the radio, and I'm sure anybody else who's watching, hello.
All right. Chris Hune, I'll send it back inside to you guys. Thank you, Chris. And we'll see if we can track down James Long here eventually.
Again, thank you, Chris, for that interview. That was great. Both Chris's, actually.
For sure.
But it looks like Red Rescue's finally coming off track with our car, so we're going to get up close and personal, possibly, with this vehicle once it gets off the track. So they're entering pit in now. So you might be able to see it from the balcony.
We
and
should
if
be
you're
able to get.
trackside.
Yeah, we should be able to get back underway here.
Yeah, it looks like everything's
Pretty
been cleared
shortly,
up.
yeah.
So we did have the announcement that all Spec Miata was to go to grid, so that does give us a good sign.
Yeah, all Spec Miata, Spec E30. I see two of y'all out there in the paddock right now. All the way on the far side. Hopefully y'all can hear me from the building.
I'll meander over there. Spec Miata, you're saying they're to grid up right now?
Yep.
That's correct.
We need all Spec Miata, Spec E30 to the grid. All Spec Miata, Spec E30 to the grid.
Gotcha. Okay, so the car went around backside there, so don't know that we're going to get an interview with Mr. Long at this moment. So,
Well, normally when stuff like this happens, cars immediately go to the boneyard. They immediately get a sheet over them. It's not the most
Glorious thing.
Yeah, it's not the glorious thing as a driver to have happen anytime, whether it's a fire or an incident and your car sustains damage, because you obviously don't want other people looking at it and making fun of you. And
I really don't think anybody would make fun of him for that one because that was entirely out of
well,
his
and I
control.
don't think anybody would either. But you got to think from a driver's perspective.
yeah,
it's
it's
embarrassing. You
it
don't want to
hurts.
come back, with your car looking like that.
Man, I still have no words for what happened.
Yeah, was not expecting that to happen today.
No, that was not on my bingo card for 2024.
So, Will, while we're waiting for Spec Miata to grid up, I see that the karts are racing there in the distance. How about the summer kart series coming up?
So, yes, so we've got our next race coming up here second week. I believe July 13th is going to be round number 6 in the AMP Summer Kart Racing Championship Series. And we've already had a pretty stout year of kart racing already.
Oh, yes.
And
It's been so popular that I've had to for my stuff that I cover for Atlanta Motorsports Park, we had to create our own karting page because it was blowing up so quickly.
Well, today we've got the LO 206 8-hour endurance race going on right now.
I believe there's a total of
I think
8?
there's about 9 or 10 drivers, 9 or 10 teams out there right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are doing double headers. Danny May, of course. The normal
the Iron Man.
the Iron Man Danny May is going to be out there running two different karts. Hopefully he's not going to try to do it at the same time.
I would hope he's not driving for 2 different teams.
At the same time,
I could see him doing 2 stints.
2 different teams would just be brutal.
I could totally see Danny running an 8-hour race on a 2-man team.
2 2-man teams. He just does the whole 8-hour.
Or a 1-man team.
One man.
Why he's called the Iron Man.
God, there's no way I would do 8 full hours on the kart track. There's no way. My body would explode. Your
summer weight loss program would be done in a day.
You know what?
You would lose all that weight.
Well, I have an idea. Let's me and you do a full 8-hour. All right.
Oh, it looks like Chris is down there with Jose Alvarez.
Aveles.
He was correcting me.
Yes.
So, Jose Aveles here. So, Jose, first, it's always a good thing that that no one gets hurt in a particular situation. But tell us where you were when that incident went down. Did you see anything?
Yeah, I'm behind Blake in second place. I go up the hill, and all of a sudden I see the car, in active flames, like huge orange flame behind him. So I don't know exactly what happened. I couldn't see exactly, what was transpiring because he was in front of me. He was already up over the crest when the whole situation happened. Luckily, he's good. Everything is okay. But yeah, it was an unfortunate incident.
Yeah. So let's say before the incident, let's talk about track conditions out there and what your what is cut short, obviously. But what can you tell us about what to expect in the next race?
Track is getting hotter. Definitely, you can feel it. The car and the tires feeling the temperature. But I expect we can still expect a good race, clean race. Car is handling very well. Brakes are there. So I'm expecting, probably I won't be able to go the full speed because of the tires and the temperature, but it's going to be a really good race.
Yeah, and it's a big field out there today as well. So that's always nice to see that, especially in turn 1, y'all were 3 wide. And but anyway, we've got a few minutes before Spec Miata takes off. So since we were out here last, what's been going on in life and everything been going well for you?
Everything well. The daily working, doing my thing, training. Unfortunately, I couldn't participate in May race because of what happened, but I came here ready today with a mindset to do the best I can and try to do both podiums on both races.
I can't wait to see you up there. Jose Aveles. Very nice. All right, so we're going to send it back in, and Jose, cool off, and we'll see you in the final.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It only took us 2 full seasons to get that last name correct.
Yeah, we were saying Alvarez for the longest. And he finally came up and corrected me at the driver's meeting. Said, it's Aveles. And I was like, oh, sorry.
Oopsie.
My bad.
Looks like we only have one. Spec Miata.
I see there's a group out here of Miatas under pop-ups over here, and I wonder if they just didn't get the memo. So I'm going to.
Yeah, Spec Miata, Spec E30. We're waiting on you.
Is that Danny, perhaps?
I see Rachel getting in the car down there, so we're about to.
Rachel's about to go regardless.
Yeah, I can't tell. Did you say Danny May's racing today?
He's at the kart track
At
today.
the kart track.
Oh, at the kart track. Okay, here come the Miatas. It looks like we've got number 67. Who's 67 on your lineup there?
That is. Let's see if they've got race monitor loaded up, and I'll tell you.
They've got race monitor loaded up, but they've got all the divisions slammed together. So I don't know who's who.
Okay, so Matt White just is headed toward the grid. We got two more Miatas making their way. We've got the number 9 car.
You know,
That is probably Oliver Piatek if
Yeah.
that is a number 9 Miata.
It is.
He
It
is
is.
a big Chase Elliott
where,
fan.
where's the 00 at of,
All right.
Jose?
Who goes Garcia?
I don't know where Jose's at. He has not
Here's
been
some-
with us this season.
Number 5 as well is making his way on to
And that's
or
the
down
09
toward the grid.
of Bill Miller making his way down there. I saw him up at registration.
You know, you think when you're driving a Miata as a race, do you think it's, what's that girl's name that sings that song that's like Terry Crews, making my way downtown?
Yeah. That's kind of how it does feel when you're in a Miata sometimes, especially when the top's down.
The answer was right there on the tip of my tongue. The clues were, who's the girl that sings that song?
It's Vanessa something, I think.
Yeah, where's Terry Crews when we need
Yeah,
him?
we need Terry Crews. You know what? That should be a special guest appearance. Terry Crews needs to come be our grand marshal.
Got a great shot of these our mainstays out here, our drivers, the father sons.
There's Chris. Jose.
Hey, look, there's Connor.
So updates since we were here last. Will, it's been a minute, and a lot of exciting things going on here. And you mentioned August 2nd. We're going to have that event coming up, which was amazing.
Yeah, August 3rd is going to be
3rd.
the next main track race day. August 17th is going to be our Amped Up event. That's going to be the big off the streets Amped Up event. And before we even get to that, we actually have our biggest event of the year coming up on July 4th, the July 4th Drift event. If you have ever been up here on the 4th of July, we've been doing it for 5 years in a row. Drift HQ took over, I think, on year 2. It's been officially their event ever since. It is probably one of the biggest, hottest drift events in the state of Georgia, if not the Southeast. And we've got one of the most exclusive drift circuits on the planet. These guys only get to come out here one day a year and drift the track. So if you are a drift fan, there is only one place you need to be on July 4th, and that's up here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Yeah, and living here in Dawsonville, growing up here, when this track was being built, the 4th of July events were, this was the place to go for sure. Amazing
And
fireworks display. They had
and it was sponsored by the city for a while. That's why we started it. The first year we did it here, we had some motorcycles out doing some MX bikes doing flips and stunts.
That.
And then
Oh,
and then the following year we did drift cars because we're like, hey, why not? We've never drifted out here. Let's do some drift cars. And then the drifting was so popular, we did it again the third year, and that was when Drift HQ came up. And after the third year doing the 4th of July, we said, hey, do you guys want to take over? And the last 4 years, it's been their event out here on the 4th of July.
And it's been wild.
It is amazing.
oh yeah, I've got
90 to 100 mile an hour entries going into turn 6 sideways. Like, it does not get
No,
cooler than
not
that.
sideways. Well, it's slideways. Slideways, smoking the tires
you
off
get
them
some of the
things.
you get some of the big dogs out here too. T-Pain's been out here, Chelsea DeNofa, some of the other. I would try and do this on air live to remember some of these names. Taylor Hull's been out here. Adam LZ comes out here. Adam LZ was actually drifting the go-kart track 2 years ago, and that was kind of sick to watch. And so it is 4th of July. It is probably our single biggest spectator event of the year.
Yeah, this place fills up really, really fast.
But where I was getting at when I was talking about the city, though, is it all started because they needed a place to do fireworks, and they sponsored us to come do the fireworks. And the city just put a bunch of money into the park area. If anybody's been over there by the Hall of Fame and the pavilion that they've got, really spruced that area up. And so now they do the fireworks over there, closer to downtown, closer to the city center. And so that's kind of the official spot for the city of Dawsonville to do their fireworks. And so Drift HQ is kind of doing their own thing. Not quite as big of a fireworks display. I think they just get a couple cakes from Jake's down the road and set them off, but
Here we're gonna
not quite what the city does.
make it look like Armageddon out here.
And
It doesn't look like an '80s rock show. I don't want no part of it.
And as we're talking, it looks like we are getting gridded up and ready to go with race number 1 here for Spec Miata. I see Rachel Heiler in the Killboy.com Porsche pace car right there, about to pull off track.
No, she's taking the high line. She's running this race too.
Oh, yeah.
Daryl, I'm sorry, but your Porsche is going to be in a race today. We're going to grid up nice and somewhat tight entering the last corner, turn 16, before we get the green flag.
And here comes your grid of 4 Spec Miatas. And Oliver Piatek will take the field to green with Matt White in the number 67 following closely behind. Some 2-wide action as they go diving into turn number 1. All 4 cars through there cleanly. And it looks like we've got 1 Spec E30 in the back of the field right now.
Looks like we got a
He
challenge
took a
for the
split
lead there.
Start. Yeah, and that's Matt White to the inside, putting the challenge on Oliver Piatek right now. Oliver holding strong in that outside line as they make their way through the carousel. And that's Bill Miller just behind Matt White in that red Spec Miata right now, the number 5 of Bill Miller.
Bill Miller's kind of sending it in there.
He is, and you know he's got to be excited with the grid we got today because he's going to be running up front today. And Oliver Piatek took home a couple of podiums last week as well during the SCCA event we had.
Yeah, I unfortunately wasn't not able to make it out to that event. I was working at Dixie, having a blast out there with those guys, and that was super fun. As we're seeing our top 4 out of the 5 that are in the field today. There's an E30 back there, a little ways back.
Yeah, they split start him, but he's already catching back up. Look at that. You can see him just off the top of your screen. But right now, Oliver Piatek is leading the pack through the back turn as they are making their ways down through that big, long turn 14, that double apex sweeper on the backside of the track. And here they are rounding their way through turns 15 and 16 back onto the front straightaway. And that will complete lap number 2 here in this 20-minute sprint race. 2 minutes already off the clock. And I guess technically that was lap number 1 because we are on lap number 2 now.
Yeah.
Because they start the time right as they hit the stripe, but it ticks off lap number 1 during that pace lap. As we get that beautiful AMP score tower back up on the screen. Great shot here from our drone pilot, Daryl Cannon, Killboy.com, flying that DJI FPV drone. Really awesome. You can catch it there. You see it flying on the top of your screen.
Look at that pass for, I believe that was second.
And that was Bill Miller getting around Matt White. I think Matt's shaking off some of the cobwebs.
He hasn't been out here in a little while, has he?
I believe this is his first race this season. Matt, always a busy individual, made the trip up from Tampa. Bought a plane in the offseason, so you know he's been having some fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of curious what kind of plane he bought. I'm a big plane guy myself.
Him and Chris are buddies. They garage out of the Hong Nor garage, so Chris Hune and Matt White. And right now, look at that. Bill Miller is leading that mid-pack right now in second place. And look at that, Specky 30 catching up.
Did you see that Steve, I'm going to probably butcher it, Tyner? Is that
correct?
Tyner just put it 2 off there, exiting turn 13 into turn 14.
And you could definitely tell he lost some speed when he did that because he is falling back right now. And that is Josh Rich catching up right now. Look at that, Josh Rich turning the fastest lap. The previous lap, though, Oliver Piatek just put a second on that. Yeah, and that's our trackside audio ripping into your headset there, Steve.
Oh, yeah. I'm sitting here going, oh, wow, what's that? And
there goes
Rich.
There goes Rich, 2 for 1, gets past Matt White and Steven Tyner.
He's going for the win. He doesn't care.
No, he's going to be the flat-out winner here is what he's going for. Although he's just got to get around Bill Miller, and then he can start clawing away at that lead that Oliver Piatek has.
You see the Cougar in the car that he had?
Is who? Matt White? Has he got it in there?
Yeah, he's got it in there. If you ain't first, you're last. And
And
he
I'm sure he's got
wholeheartedly believes that
and
right
I'm
now.
sure he's got a pound of Colombian Bam Bam underneath the transmission tunnel right now.
Is it because it's an E30?
And Rich is hot on the heels of Bill Miller right now, so we are watching the battle for second. Now, Josh Rich is in his own class. He is in Spec E30, so he is already guaranteed a podium spot in that class. But I think he wants to be first overall, and right now he is dicing it up with Bill Miller as they go through turns 13 into 14. Let's see what kind of a setup he can get, especially for these cars. It's real important that you nail turns 13 and 14 just right, because with the acceleration of these cars, you need every bit of speed you can get, and it really pays off.
He's going to have a
There
big run right there.
There he goes. Let's see. Look to the inside and out of the outside. Bill can't make more than one move. We talked about it in the drivers' meeting. You can't push him off track, and he can't pinch him, and there goes Rich around Bill Miller on the front straightaway.
He's got 4 cars down. Well, 3 cars technically. One more to go, and he's going to have to really push it.
He has got a mountain to climb right now. Oliver Piatek off to a huge lead right now. Well, you see what that gap is. Almost 7 seconds at the line, so that is going to be
a huge push.
That is going to be a lot.
Recovers.
Yes.
You know, I've always wondered, personally as a driver, I would always be singing in the car if I didn't have, radio communications, them talking to me in my headset. I wonder what these drivers do to kind of, are they like walking through, all right, I brake here, I accelerate here, or are they doing like I do and just start singing random songs at the top of their lungs?
I think that's what.
Now, what song would you sing, Will?
That's a good question. Probably some like early 2000s crunk music.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I mean, I went to private school in Atlanta, so
so we could have shared that.
I am what you considered cultured.
Oh, I am cultured as well. Where did you go to school?
I went to a St. Pius X.
Oh, okay. You went to a Catholic high school.
We played them. Dawson County played St. Pi.
Oh,
yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah,
that was
didn't
probably
work
a
out.
slaughter.
Did not work out real well for us.
It sounded like what happened when we played Buford. The year after I graduated, they went and got first time they'd ever made it to the championship football game in 40-something years. And
Buford just annihilates everybody.
We used to have Buford in our region too. It was.
I remember that.
Yep.
That was not good.
These 2, 3, and 4 seem to be staying tight, fairly tight.
So
together.
this is the battle for third overall, second in class for Spec Miata right now. So Bill Miller in that red 05 car right there, just barely ahead of Matt White as they make their way through turn 4.
Yep.
Did you see Matt get a little loose there?
I think he did because he lost a little bit of ground. I think Tyner's the one having the biggest trouble keeping this car together right now because he is slowly falling off pace. But we were talking about this in the drivers' meeting today. The track conditions are different today. The track is definitely greasy. It is hot.
Well, you got to think we're currently at 85 degrees. That means track temperature is probably pushing about 110, 115.
And we are in direct sun with very little cloud coverage right now. So
I just keep seeing that the car of Bill Miller there. Who's in the middle there in the white car?
So that's Matt White.
Yeah, Matt. I just keep seeing his car get loose. You mentioned the word greasy, so.
Yeah, you can see right there, too. He just slid out a
slip
little
and
bit.
slide.
He looks slip and slide indeed.
Well, that's definitely the track conditions out there today. These cars are not hooking up as well as they would if there was a nice, cool 70 degrees out there. But these drivers make it look easy. It is not keeping these cars right, especially when you're coming through turns 13 there on the backside of that carousel of the sweeper there at 13. That's where we see a lot of cars in the tree. We talked about earlier having cars in trees. Oh, and look at that! There goes.
That's a great shot.
There goes
Way
Rich. You
too
can
off.
see the dust from Rich.
Way too off there.
Hey, that's track limits. It's there. You better use it.
All right, then.
Using all the real estate available. That's how you drive.
Speaking of available real estate, looks like there's some condos.
Yes, condos for sale right now. Actually, we're just getting phase 4 underway. So where you're looking at right now is where the condos are actually going to be. You see that tire wall to your outside. We are going to line that entire carousel with trackside cottages. So if you want to not only live at the track, but live on the track. Phase 4 is where you want to be.
We're talking to you, Jose Garcia. You already live here. Might as well make it official.
I think half the guys back at Kart Track pretty much live here because you see them more than you see your own family sometimes.
I feel like I see more of you than I see my own family sometimes.
Yeah, tell your wife I said hi.
I will.
And thank you for letting me borrow you so much.
Yeah, she's working today, so she doesn't care.
I find the best guys that work in motorsports have wives that work on the weekends, so they're not.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Somebody's going to make money.
Well, my wife is at home watching my 2-year-old right now. So,
Speaking of, when are we going to get him in the car?
Pretty soon. He can already drive.
Okay,
so
we're good.
He's got
We're
a little
good.
saucer he drives. He's got a Z drive, whatever you call
So,
that.
is this Project Dale or Project Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson?
I don't know yet. Might be Project Petty.
Ooh. Mikey Lane just said probably the funniest thing over our earpiece that only NASCAR fans would understand.
So this is a sprint race as opposed to a timed race. Is that correct, guys?
So it is a 20-minute sprint race. So you're
right and wrong at
right.
the same time.
Yes. So normal, like oval divisions and other, like what you would think, Friday, Saturday night feature type divisions, they will run off lap counts, 10, 15, 20 laps. Like when we have Legends out here later this year.
Oh, we got a little bit of tire smoke there.
That's Matt White logging up that rear. Hopefully that doesn't give him a flat spot.
He did get a little wobbly coming out of 6 there, too.
Yeah, you can see that trunk bouncing up and down.
Yeah, you were saying, so my learning curve here, as some of you know, I come from football and basketball announcing, so I appreciate all you guys.
I just love having you up here in the booth with us, Chris.
Yeah,
it's been long enough. It's
Yeah.
time to force you up here and stick a mic in your face while the races are going on.
See, that's what happened with me. I was doing what Chris was doing. They were like, no, you come inside.
I found this new guy. He's better. Don't worry.
Reminds me of coming to America. Like right now, I'm washing lettuce, but soon I'll be on fries, and that's when the real money comes in.
You're gonna fit right in.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Chris, sprint racing, it's a timed event. So if there is a caution flag, anything but a red flag, the time keeps going.
Okay.
And so, if somebody spins out, if there's an incident, if it is off track and not blocking the racing line, the race keeps going. And they'll put local yellows out. The safety crew will go out on track while the race is going on, to help the driver. And that's pretty much sprint racing.
Understood. So these drivers are, instead of a lap situation like we see in NASCAR, they know they got to survive 20 minutes.
Yes.
On their tires, their brakes, and whatnot. So,
and if they get a huge gap, pray that somebody forces the pace car out, with about 2 minutes to go, so you can at least have a 2-lap shootout for the win.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we got to have the entertainment factor there somewhere.
Well, and that's one of those things. You always feel bad, too, when there is a late caution, especially in one of these races, because, somebody like Oliver Piatek spends all race building up a huge lead, and then you could have a back marker spin out, and then it's a green-white checker, and they're all stacked up. From a viewing standpoint, it's exciting, but from a driver standpoint, I couldn't imagine a more frustrating thing to happen, probably aside from, catching on fire.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I think I've heard both of you refer to it as the announcer's curse.
Yes.
Did you just put a hex on us here?
The second we start talking about somebody, typically that's when they start falling back. Yes, unfortunately.
Right. So you were talking about this situation that might bring this field back together.
I think it's just a divine justice that keeps me from being a homer on the mic. Because whoever I'm going to root for is going to have the most problems. And so I try to not be biased.
Man, that's how I feel in NASCAR. Just here recently.
That's the whole point of NASCAR. NASCAR is just like soap opera for men. You pick your favorite driver, and you just get belligerently, supportive of that driver.
Yeah, we'll call that supportive, belligerently supportive. Yeah, I'll go with that next time.
I made that up on the fly.
I know what you were going to say. I've been to plenty NASCAR events.
We're on air, all right?
Whoa! There it goes! And
Matt White, sending it through the grass, able to keep it under control, and Steven Tyner's going to take the freebie and get on by. He went off track, too, there.
There's the announcer's curse we were talking about.
Well, he had been just
Oh,
loose
man.
He'd
all
been very,
day.
very loose.
I think that's tires. I think it's about time for a new set on that Miata.
And you'd be surprised how quickly you blow through tires.
Well, and that's the car, if you remember, that Blake Fabiani will drive on occasion.
Yeah, is this the same one that Fabiani rebuilt?
No, he sold that one. But
Okay.
when that car went down, he borrowed Matt's for a few races. And we'll occasionally see Chris Hune's been in that car before. So that's kind of the backup car for the Hong Nor garage. And look at this right here.
Yeah,
just
this is
not
tires.
enough track. And wow, that is.
Oh,
I will say that is.
we didn't even catch the 09
Yeah,
going off track.
Tyner went 4 off there as well.
There's another angle of it. Well, we had an angle.
But that was some impressive driving from
Both of those guys.
both guys, yeah, to keep those cars under control.
I've always heard when it's hot out and your tires are nice and sticky, hitting grass is like hitting ice.
Yeah, and the further along this race goes, the more heat that is in there. And there we are all the way back up to the front of the pack right now. I haven't even checked that gap. Let's see, Oliver Piatek up to a 13-second gap right now over second place of Josh Rich. And then all the way back to Bill Miller, almost 26 seconds.
And Josh is trying to make it happen, but I don't think it's going to.
And to give a little spotlight on Oliver Piatek, we first met him about 4 years ago back at the go-kart track. He was pushing it hard in the X30 class. He was one of the young drivers we did a featurette on back when we were still doing our Under the Helmet series.
Oh, yeah.
And what he has grown into has been incredible. He's currently making the push to do SCCA Spec Miata racing. And they are truly a garage team, scraping every penny they can to go racing. That's why we didn't see them at the start of the season. They were just trying to get their car together and get everything back up where they could have a nice, 9-10 race run in the second half of this year.
Well, speaking of, scraping it together in garage teams, if you are interested in running the Spec Miata series, please come out to Atlanta Motorsports
Yes.
Park. We are looking for drivers to come out to AMP and give our track a go.
Well, we had 60 drivers out last weekend with the SCCA event. That was a mix between Miatas, Downforce, and the other classes they run. And in the past, we've had some pretty big grids here in Spec Miata. It has kind of fallen off here recently, which has been sad to see. But, honestly, up here in the booth, we've not noticed it as much because the Downforce class has grown.
Oh, yeah.
We had 20-plus cars in that last year and consistently getting 15-plus car grids every time.
Well, it used to be, 5, 3,
Yeah, it would be
2.
what we're seeing now with the Miata is what the
They just-
Downforce used to be, and they kind of flip-flop.
And the Miata guys all went to Downforce.
And
Well, a couple of them did, yes.
speaking about progressions, in interviewing a lot of the kart drivers, is Miata the next logical step up from your shifter karts? Is that where you go to Miata next?
Yes, and typically you don't even make it to shifter. You get to about where Oliver was. You get to a
X30.
two-stroke kart, and then you move on. But this is, and this might be a very biased opinion, but inherently the problem with motorsports is cost. And when you get to this level, even at the level we're at, club racing, you can come out and have fun. You can get a $20,000 build, and it's not going to be that much more expensive than kart racing. But if you want to leave AMP, or not even leave AMP, if you want to win against other people that race outside of AMP, you then got to double the amount of money you have invested in that car because you're not going to win. The guys that run on a national level in Spec Miata, they're doing every single last thing they can to keep that car winning, and that's where the costs just skyrocket. And to be honest, there is not a good class right now that is an in-between class where drivers that are on a karting budget can make it in a road racing series.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Well, and part of what we're doing here at Atlanta Motorsports Park to try and bridge that gap is we're bringing in the legend drivers. So we've been working with Ken Reagan with the Georgia 600 Inc. Racing to get the legends drivers out here because that is an affordable, sealed engine, controlled class. And you can get those cars for around the same price you can get a decent used Miata, and they're all controlled. You don't have to worry about a guy spending another $30,000 than you.
I mean,
to be faster.
with Legends cars, I've actually been looking into them recently. I mean, you can find a very good used Legends car for 6-8 grand.
Yeah, with the
Now,
trailer and a set of
with
spares.
everything.
Yeah, and
Everything you need to go racing.
They control the gearing. Your only selection is the final drive. You can put in whatever rear end you want depending on the track you're at, and that's it. The engine's sealed, transmission sealed. You have there is no ability to tinker with those things to the point where you're spending an extra 30 grand to get the edge, over the next guy.
You can, but it's very frowned upon.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for your, to dip into your knowledge here. I see in the turn that Piatek just went through, there's a white marking there, and I see all the drivers hitting that mark before they start heading up the hill for the straight.
Speaking of white markings, I'm seeing 19 minutes on my timer on the screen, and I don't see a white flag in hand.
Yeah, usually that would be an indication of the last lap.
But my timing screen on my phone is kind of frozen up, so let's see.
It's showing 19:53 right now.
Yeah, that's my phone just caught up, so I'm guessing we'll see the white flag next time by. The white flag should have been out that time by.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was missed or not.
It's a little over half a lap.
But you said there was a white marking. I have to look at it when.
Yeah, I'll mention it again when Piatek rolls around if they.
More than likely, it's probably a patch on track. If it was at dead center of the track, because usually it's either an extension of a curb, it's a patch, or
the drivers seem to hit it spot on, which would make sense if that's getting a lot of work. It could be a patch, but it's right after, I believe, this turn. You'll see it.
Yeah, and the drivers typically there's only one fast line through here, and so if it is on that line, it is going to get work.
I see what you're talking about up there in the corner.
Right, here it comes. And there it is.
Yeah.
See
that is definitely a patch, and that actually wasn't there the last time we were out here. So that is a more recent repair they've made to the surface out there. And the reason I know it is because we're out there setting up the autocross track.
Gotcha. Well, I've been watching. The drivers seem to use it as a reference point as they head.
And there we are, double checkers in hand. I guess they heard me up in the booth
Yep.
Upstairs.
All right.
There was definitely no white flag out that last time. At least not when the camera was on them. And that will be it. Oliver Piatek with a commanding lead will take the checkered flag. Let's see what that gap is. 17.8 seconds as Josh Rich comes across the line. He is going to be first place overall in Spec E30, second overall for the entire group. And right now we are waiting on Bill Miller and Steven Tyner and Matt White to make their way back around. Be interesting to see if Matt White is still out there after that hairy incident. He is definitely a little far off. I don't know. I think he might have. Nope, there he is. Yeah, he definitely fell back a good ways.
That was a good, 15, 20 second back?
Yeah, he definitely fell off the pace after that one. I'm sure that probably shook him a little bit going 4 off in the especially in the carousel. That's not where you want to go 4 off.
No.
The fact that he kept that out of the wall, that
was the most impressive thing
that
about
is where
it.
Well, and what's crazy is we see people spin out there all the time. And they usually, because it's going uphill, they're able to slow down enough to where they either just barely tap the wall, or they don't hit it at all. And he was pointed straight.
Yeah, that was
there was no scrubbing speed.
One way or another, he was going to smack it, and he just didn't do it.
Yeah, he throttled out. He put the hammer down and saved it. But for being a 5-car grid, pretty exciting race. Had a lot of action there. Here's that replay again of Matt White's incident. Look at that, just losing the back end slightly. All 4 tires dipping off. Gives a little bit of counter steer.
I think he might do very good at a dirt race.
And, I'm curious if Tyner just had the blinders on. We'll need to get Chris to ask him if he was just driving in Matt's wake, and that's why he just went right off with him.
I'm not exactly sure.
And I hear some audio out there, so I'm assuming that might be Chris walking around trying to find somebody.
Yeah, I was accustomed to the Mazdas coming off here at the break, but it looks like they're going to line up. Piatek, I'm going to try to catch him, our race winner.
Yeah, definitely get a word with him. Ask him how old he is, because I don't even know if he's 18 yet. I'm pretty sure he is still in high school.
Hey, it's summer vacation. So
Well, a lot of these kids don't even go to traditional school.
no, they do the
They do like homeschool programs.
oh man, what is that? I can't think. Another Georgia homegrown driver, Seth Christensen.
No, we're not. We're just going to take a. Oh, I guess I'm still on air, right? Yeah. Sorry. Producer's
Hi.
talking to us right now. Yeah, no. We're getting ready for the historics are going on track right now, and we're going to wait and get a word with our winners from Spec Miata, and once we're done with that, we will go to a quick break. It is just the 2 cars out here for historics, so they will be pretty much in an open lapping situation. We don't let them pass under green. They're more of a point by, and really the reason is because they don't want to wreck.
Yeah, they're
You know,
historics.
and so a couple of cool cars out here. We've got a World Sport Racer, and we've also got a Formula Mazda out here that is a brand new, well, new to Bob Riles car, but that almost looks like an 80s, Monaco style F1
that's
car.
what I thought it was
And
when
it's
I
got
first got here.
It's got a rotor in it. It's got a rotary engine. He was spitting flames during the qualifying session.
Well, I asked Sean,
We'll talk.
what it looked like.
And I have got our friend up here, Greg Kimbrell, who's the one that helped us actually get the historics going here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. And normally you'd be out there in one of those World Sport Racers, but you hobbled in here today.
Hobbled.
Tell me you did that at about 10,000 feet coming down the side of a mountain, right? On your last Aspen trip.
There was a very aggressive rock in my backyard
Ooh.
that I just happened to need to step on, I suppose, and twisted my ankle all to hell. So
Well, I hope that rock learned its lesson.
it met its demise.
Well, I was bringing you on here. I was hoping you could fill us in a little bit on these. I know the World Sport Racers a little bit, but tell us more because you own one, so you know more about the cars.
I've got one in my garage and one in the trailer with a blown motor, but there was like 140 of them made back in the early 90s as a spec series at IMSA. And the first batch went to South America. Am I out?
No. It's
Okay.
here. I'll help you. Actually, it sounds like Chris is down there. You got somebody, Chris?
Yes, indeed. I've got Oliver Piatek, our race winner, just got out of his car here, and
Yeah, we'll go to you real quick.
yeah, for sure. Apologies for the interruption. I wanted to catch Oliver before he headed back in, but we were talking quite a bit about you inside there. And first of all, introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been racing. I believe you came up through karts. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I've been racing for 3 years now. Started in karting on the karting track 2020, and I've just been going ever since.
Yeah, and so tell us about the the transition. We were talking about that, about coming up from the 30 up to your Miata here, and obviously coming over to main track. Talk about it.
Obviously, a little bit different. You got suspension. You have a lot of weight on the car, a bunch of different stuff. I mean, it was a decent transition. I've done a lot of races and gotten transition pretty over.
Yeah, and so today was you were off to the races, as it were. Had a nice big lead there, and so as far as Spec Miata, is it a point system, and where are you in the points?
It's my first race of the season, so I'm nowhere near the points championship. We're honestly just here making sure the car runs good before some other races.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to you on your win. We're going to keep our eyes on you as we've seen you then come up from karting to Spec Miata, and then lots of great things ahead of you there. Oliver Piatek, guys. Any questions for Oliver before I send it back?
Hopefully on to some Formula racing. You talking to guys over at VRD yet?
I wish. We just don't have the money to really compete in a championship like that. I mean, I'd love to, but it's so much.
Well, are we going to see you back at kart track anytime soon, or are you on 4 wheels permanently?
No, I'll definitely do karts every now and then. Again, we're just trying to find the time, the budget to do some stuff. But I'll definitely be on the karting track every now and then this year. I'll be coaching there a lot as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on the win today. Awesome to get to watch you out there.
Thank you.
And always a pleasure anytime you join us, Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver. Who do you coach out at the track?
I work for AMP, so I work at AMP. We do driver instruction, driver lessons, all that type of stuff.
Excellent. All right, so Oliver Piatek, our race winner, and could be your coach out here.
Yeah, but
so
go ahead and plug private karting instruction while we're at it.
100%. All right, I'll send it back into you. Thanks, Oliver.
Yep. And so we're still up here in the booth. We got Greg Kimball here alongside. He was kind of the ringleader for the historic guys, and we were talking about those world sport racers. And to my understanding, they're just Toyota Celica basically with a fancy frame, right?
No,
Or is it a gross?
it's a custom-made tube frame. It does use the 4AG 1600 motor, which may or not be 1600 anymore because it's been since '96. There's been some very, very, very creative engineering going on. There is a huge industry in Australia, of all places, making let's call them alternate parts. But then vintage racing, the main rule for being qualified into a class is that your check has to clear. So, but there's no money, and if you win, you get some hokey little medallion and a baseball cap. So,
It's a baseball cap you can't get anywhere else, though, right?
correct.
Okay.
Correct. You have.
Yeah, I don't even give out baseball caps here. That's
And we need that.
I know.
I got one on right now, actually.
Okay.
So, they're sturdy little cars. I've got one that's my brother's car from Tulsa in my garage right now. He was kind enough to leave it with me so I could work on it for him. And mine is still in the trailer with a crapped out motor. And apparently, motor builders right now are booked up until September, October, and I don't plan on seeing it until February probably. But having said all that, they're a very easy car to drive. They're 1,200 pounds. They're right around 150, 160 horsepower. Here in my car, I've run a 136. I don't know where that compares with everybody
That's
else.
pretty on pace for Spec Miata.
Is it? Okay. So anyway, the first batch of these went to South America, which they promptly tore all to pieces. And so the guys in California who built the cars thought they were going to get rich, but the guys in South America pulled a quick one and started building their own parts. So there's only about 50, maybe 60 of these here in the U.S. If you get 5 of them for a weekend, you're doing well. But the guys who built the cars in California still manufacture the parts. So you can obliterate everything but the name tag and still rebuild the car.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they're cheap to run. Brakes last forever, tires last forever.
So it'd be a perfect car for my wife to have as a daily driver. Then.
Yeah, you just as long as she doesn't buy anything. Yeah. Yeah, they're great fun. And I've raced just about everything since '93. From Mustangs to Spitfires to all kinds of sports racers. And these, I just clocked over 75 this year. So it's a perfect car for me. It's fast enough to have fun. And you can even pass, a few lacquards on the track. But, at VIR, which is a very, very fast track, I managed to pull off a second place.
Oh, wow.
And before my major mishap at Road Atlanta, I was running in the top 3. So it's a momentum car. If you're brave enough to keep your foot in it, it'll go. So it's the cheapest car you can run right now for racing, even better than Spec Miata.
Oh, wow.
I think. They're easy on tires, easy on brakes. I change my brakes about every 3 years because they get dirty looking. And they use about, the downside is they do run race gas because they have high compression. So that's $10 a gallon, but it only uses about 3 gallons every half hour.
Oh, wow.
So they come in 2 varieties, twin Webers or fuel injected cars.
But it delivers what we like to call the smiles per gallon.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, you can roll it out of the trailer, race all weekend, and then, 12 out of 13 times you can roll it back in the trailer or drive it back in the trailer. It's a really neat car, and 96 IMSA canceled it. So in 96 they became orphans. So now they are fully historic eligible. So it is a great car, well placed in the classes, and I would highly recommend them if you could find one. That's the problem. But yeah, and Richard, I think this is only his third weekend out in the car, and he's fully stoked. And
Well, I remember he got that towards the end of last season. I think the last event y'all were out here with us, he was kind of shaking some of the bugs out of it and didn't get to see it run fully well. But I think it's definitely doing a lot better today. He's outrunning Bob right now in that spec Mazda.
well, I wouldn't be surprised about the spec Mazda. Today is Bob's first outing in that car, and it's his first outing in that type of car. He's a Miata guy. I don't hold that against him very much. But
Well, maybe we'll see if we can get drone operator Jeffrey Farver to give us some cool shots of that when he comes by.
it is a really cool car.
We let all the camera guys come inside to cool off right now, so
It's very hot out there.
It's hot, yeah.
we'll see if when they make their way back around, if we can pick them up.
Well, that spec Miata, it was a spec class. I mean, it was spec all the way down to the mirrors, sealed motors, little rotary motors.
Yeah, I saw him. He was spitting fire during practice. That thing looked cool.
Yeah, they do. And
There he goes right there just under our screen.
they run a single Weber carburetor. And I don't know how heavy they are, maybe 1,200 pounds and about 150 horsepower. So plenty to have fun.
Yeah, we'll see if we can follow that spec Miata for a lap here just to give the viewers a look at it real quick, and then we'll go on a quick break ourselves. Although we're sitting here in the nice air-conditioned booth, so we're not getting as beat up as the camera guys are out there. I know John Michael's out there on Cowboy Cam today. Benny Lane, I believe, over there on the Tower Cam. Jim Abbott on interview cam right now.
Is that any relation to Mikey?
Might be Mikey's little brother.
Oh.
David is his name. Sorry, Benny's the other one, right? He's got too many to keep count. His parents stayed busy. Mikey actually lives in my basement. And he's always bringing a new brother home every couple of weeks. I'm always getting his siblings confused.
That's not the statement I thought you were going with, but I'll take it.
Stop it. You're going to get me off air. I'm biting my tongue right now. Especially during the month of June.
What?
Stop it. Yeah, the producer's about to pull the cables out of the mixer right now.
We're about to get canceled.
And there is that beautiful spec Mazda right there. It looks just like an 80s, GP Formula One car.
Well,
it looks so cool.
Originally, that's what I thought it was when I first saw it and talking to
Yeah,
Sean.
when you hear historics, you're like,
Oh my God, that's a classic F1 car. But no. It's still cool, though, because it's a rotary.
It kind of looks like the cars we used to get to drive growing up going to Malibu Grand Prix.
Pretty
Oh,
close.
yes.
but they put the little 25 horsepower Briggs engine in them, and let you tool around their little track at Malibu.
And the ones that, go around, they go up and they go down.
Yeah.
And the NASCAR experience or whatever, and they put you in one of these.
So the interesting thing about this car, it has a dog box or a gearbox, which means you don't use the clutch to shift. And it's very, very tricky. You got to match the revs to trick, and that's really what he's learning right now is how to shift the damn thing.
So it's a very heavy shift is what you're saying?
No, it's a very easy shift, but you got
Well, you could see the flames coming out when he does hit those shifts.
it's running a little rich, but you just let off the throttle a little bit and then just cram it back into the next gear.
Probably should see one of those coming up over the hill here.
It sounds like you're tearing the rear end out of the car every time you shift, but
That would just scare me. I don't know if I'd
Are
be.
those, I'm assuming, straight cut gears in that?
yeah, but it also has dog pins instead of synchros, which are pins like off of first gear. On the back of first gear, there will be pins sticking out, and second gear will have slots cut into the front. So what you have to do is get those pins to fit into the slots, and they're not real close together. So sometimes you hit the land in between the slots.
And it just makes that grr, 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 grr until you hit it.
That's it. And then downshifting is even more worser, or more worstest. Take your pick.
The worstest.
Worcerist.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah. I did run a Mazda RX-7 for a while, 3-rotor car, and it had a Jericho dog box. And I spent more time trying to shift the thing. I never could learn how to drive it. So third time out, it left. It left the neighborhood. I don't know where it went, but it was.
Is that all right? I'm out.
Yeah.
So, see you on the next one, Greg.
Yeah. The first thing it did to me, first time I rode Atlanta, I went to start it up to get it out of the trailer. And they have huge oil pressure to start with. And so went to start the thing, and my oil filter blew up.
Ooh.
Inside the trailer.
Ooh.
And, it was kind of an Exxon Valdez moment.
Ooh.
So.
Went straight into Bly Reef.
But the plus side is it was a beautiful car. Well made, just not well made for me. I like the WSRs. They're so easy to drive. Easy. Great gearboxes. Huge brakes. You'll come flying out of the thing if you're not strapped in. So, big grip. It runs slicks. So, the downside to them is, they're over 25 years old. They're almost 30 years old.
And I'm assuming parts aren't as readily available.
No, that's the crazy thing. The guys in California will make you everything.
Oh, cool.
They even have a lot of things in stock. Suspension parts, A-arms, links, and some of the other parts you just go down to AutoZone and grab you something. So
yeah,
that makes it nice. The body work is pretty easy to fix.
Great drone shot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some carts coming there. Wonder how that's going.
I believe they are, 12:30, so they're probably about 3 hours, 3.5 hours into this endurance race out there. Oh, there you go. You see some flames shooting off the bottom of your screen. I don't know. I'm a little kid every time I see fire.
Ooh.
I got to keep my composure because when you got a big one on the backside of the track, you gotta have some reverence there because it's kind of a shame to see. But that natural human instinct to just fire every time you see it.
Yeah.
Ugga dugga.
Those motors are known for blowing fire out the tailpipe, kind of like turbo Porsches, So they put on a show. We're going to see how Bob does after he gets used to the thing.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see him cutting it up with you guys in the WSRs later on this season.
Yeah.
But Greg, I won't keep you hostage up here for too long. I appreciate you coming by the booth and hanging with us. We're going to actually take a quick break here because we're already 16 minutes into this session, so they're going to be off the track here before we know it, and then we'll be back at it with race number 2 for Downforce.
All right. So, ciao, guys.
Yeah, take it easy. It's good talking with you, Greg.
Well, I think it's time for us to go get some food.
Yeah, I think we got to go take a quick break, and we will be back on air here probably about 5-10 minutes because we ate up a ton of time with that red flag earlier. So I have to double check my schedule, but I have a feeling we're only going to have about 10 minutes of that staff break left. So we'll have to find out because they do got to get the corner marshals off track, get them some food and some water. So
definitely water.
So we are going to go ahead and we're going to throw it off here for a minute. We'll leave the cameras up so you'll have a shot here of the kart track, and we will be back at it soon. And we are back here at Atlanta Motorsports Park here in beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia, getting the grid lined up, ready to go for Downforce race number 2. Steve, I know these drivers are itching to get some track time because we had a short but exciting race number 1, only getting 4 laps in the books, or 4 minutes actually in the books of race number 1. We were on lap 3 and had that unfortunate incident with the car going up in flames on the back side of the track.
Yeah, hopefully we can get a good replay of that.
And
there we
here
go.
it is.
In turn 13, busted fuel line from what we can best tell. Started leaking fuel there.
And that
got
was
hot.
a Radical SR10.
You were telling us that he had just recently purchased the vehicle.
Yeah, and he had just recently purchased that car. And not what you want to see, especially not when you're, if it's a rental car, it's one thing, but when it's your car, that is not how you want your race to end.
I know there's race car insurance. I know that's a thing. I just don't know where you would obtain that.
And that was James Long that had that unfortunate incident, so he will not be joining us for race number 2. And I did get confirmation during the break from our race director, Sean Hayes, that race number 1 did not count. So won't be a points race, won't be a podium, and does not count. But the way we're going to grid this up for race number 2 is whoever was basically the last lap, the last time at the stripe, that running order is what we will see. And going off of what I've gotten here on Race Monitor, that means Chris Hune will be your pole sitter for race number 2. Greg Folger will be on the outside. Blake Fabiani will be leading inside row 2. Outside will be Jose Avelez. Row 3 will be Nick Pearson and Pete Folger. Row 4 will be Will Franklin and William Robinson. Row 5 will be Will Layton and Grant Freeman. Evan Lowry will be on row 6. Hank Pate will be the outside. And then not taking the track is John Pearson. And I don't see David Mason. He was in there, so he might not have been he might have been having some transponder issues because he was in his car in that race.
I'm not sure where he ended up there.
So we'll have to see as they come back by. But we're only running 1 warm-up lap, which was clearly too much during race number 1.
That was more than a warm-up. That was smoking hot. Kind of like the smokehouse barbecue that I'm eating right now.
Yes. Shout out to our food vendors.
I can never get enough. I got to have brisket. So, unfortunately, they had a mishap with the my favorite, the Carolina mustard.
Mm.
And I'm weird. I'm different. I don't like
know
that
you're
sweet
weird.
stuff. If it's not flaming hot or bitter, I don't want it.
It's sacrilege to put mustard in your barbecue sauce.
I put mustard on everything.
I'm calling you out, South Carolina.
Peaches.
In all your barbecue sauce. Yes. You don't tell me you put that on peaches.
No, God, no. I will say, though, Georgia peaches are better than South Carolina peaches.
Yes.
For those of you that are watching.
Better than California peaches.
There's a couple of you that might know that reference, and if you do, I hope you got a good laugh.
And it looks like the field is getting gridded up. The Killboy.com Porsche pace car getting off to the side there. Driven by Rachel Heiler, means she is about to pull off track here as you see the grid. Getting into formation right now, and we will have a final running order once they hit the stripe. That looks like David Mason there in third.
That's
inside row 3. That looks like his Radical.
Is it the red and white stripe?
Yeah, so we're going to have to see the official running order as they make their way past the line. But here they are making their way through turn 16, all gridded up 2 by 2 by 2. And let's see how they do as they take the line. Green flag is out. We are underway. As they come barreling 3 wide into turn 1. Look at this.
Ooh, nice and tight.
And they keep it all together. They stay out from one another. That is how we like to see it on a race start. And they are clean through turns 2 and 3 right here, heading up into the kink. Great shot from Cowboy Cam. John Michael Collins out there taking it from the sun to get you all the shots as your field being led by Chris Hune makes their way through the carousel. Through turn 5, barreling down the hill into that tricky turn 6. That turns over 90 degrees, so the apex is a little late, and it's kind of confusing when you're on track at speed.
We were almost 3 wide coming through 6 there in
And
that last little group
It is
in the pack.
very good passing zone because if you don't set it up right, it tricks you into turning in sooner than you actually should. And drivers that fall for it will definitely pay for it with a driver that turns in later because they can just dip right underneath them and beat them out of the acceleration zone.
You know, as long as I've been at AMP, I don't think I've ever actually put race time down on the main track.
And you can see that birthmark there off on the side of the track from that race 1 fire right there as the field goes barreling through turn 14, that big double apex sweeper. This is where they're going to get all that speed as they make their way onto the front straightaway. These radicals hitting speeds at about 130, 140 miles an hour as their top trap times. They come down the front straightaway. The SR3s will hit it definitely better than the SR1s. But we have seen some lap times in the low 120s, so these guys are definitely out there getting it.
Do you think these guys are going to be as aggressive, considering the first race was not a points race?
I don't know if they know. I was just texting the race directors, so
okay.
I would assume so, but we're going to have to figure out how we're going to actually score this because we allot for 2 drop races throughout the season, and I guess this won't be a drop race. It'll just be a just not count. But that's why I'm not the race director. I don't make the rules up. I mean, I do make the rules up. Just nobody has to follow them.
Yeah, we do that as we go. That's how this broadcast works.
And right now, those pack of cars making their way. This looks like we're following the battle for, I believe this is 5th.
So that would be.
I believe this is Jose and Nick, but Feed cutting out there momentarily.
Now, he said that's pronounced Avalis?
Avalis. Yes, he was giving me a hard time at check-in today.
Yeah, we've been saying his name wrong for like 2 years now.
I have been butchering it pretty bad.
We apologize to him and his family that have been watching. They're like, hey, he's not there. No, he's here. We've just been messing his name up for the past 2 years.
There goes Alvarez and Pearson. So that was Pete Folger and Will Franklin we were watching.
Now, Evan Lowry and William Robinson are battling it out right there for 10th and 11th.
And that's a shame to see Evan all the way in the back. He must either had some trouble in qualifying. I know he was in that incident we had 2 races ago when we had that big pile up in turn 4, and his car was involved in that, and he is an owner, not a renter. Ooh. And I know that is going to shake him up a little bit, but I'm not sure why he's all the way in the back because he's actually our points leader right now. So I know he knows his way around this track, and I know he knows how to get around the track fast.
I wonder if he intentionally put himself in the rear because I don't think he was that far back when we went under red for the last race.
There is no telling. But right now, giving everybody else a chance to score some points. I know Blakely Fabiani is definitely going to take that advantage right now because this will definitely put some gap between him and Evan in the point standing. Might actually give him enough to get back in the lead. And as you can see, those top 2, Greg Folger and Chris Hune, battling it out right now. Greg just turning the fastest lap of the race, although as soon as I said that, it goes away. Looks like somebody further down the list did it. But right now, both these guys dead even on their best time, a 121.415, 121.454 for both Chris and Greg Folger. So less than a couple 100ths of a second off each other's pace right now. And that is why they are pulling way out ahead right now of the rest of the field. Right now you're looking at Blakely Fabiani leading that first mid-pack right there. And actually, no, that's not Blake because Blakely's off by himself there. So that would have been Jose Avelez as we are following the leaders again. Yeah, you can see all the way back. There's Blakely. He's in that one car by himself in between the two groups. But these are your fastest cars on track right now. Greg Folger, Chris Hune duking it out. This is a battle we see every week here at Atlanta Motorsports Park, or every month, I should say, every time we have one of these races. These guys are always trading blows. Greg was the winner in SR1 last year, made the step up to SR3, and trying to get the SR3 title from Chris Hune, although Chris is not going to let it go easily.
Yeah, that's going to be a fight to the end there.
Chris
to surrender back.
Chris gave Greg a freebie because he got stuck on a business trip and had to miss one of the races, so his drop races are already done for the season.
I do remember that was 2 races ago.
Yeah, so Chris has to be on point every single race. And Greg just has to stay consistent because Greg's been with us every race and will have the advantage of those drop races for, when he has a poor finish. And you can see them making their way through the carousel down into turn number 6. This is where you see a lot of guys lock up. They'll push the tires, especially with conditions right now, the track getting hot and greasy. You know, these cars are sliding all over the place. The track temps are definitely a factor right now.
Yeah, we're looking at probably 120 right now pushing. It's about 90 degrees out. So air temperature's 90. I'd say it's probably 110 to 120 on the temperature end. We're still following the battle between first and second, which is Greg Folger and Chris Hune. Again, these guys are constantly in the battle for the points lead and overall finishes. I believe that Greg has got one up on Chris because of that drop race like we were just talking about.
So it'll definitely be interesting to see the points after this, because this is our midpoint for the season. We've got 7 races scheduled this year. This is race number 4. We are going to go on that midsummer break after this one, so we'll be down for about 6 weeks. We'll be back at it in August, August 3rd.
We have a lot of fun events coming up at AMP, don't we?
Oh, we've got a ton between the 4th of July, amped up, more kart racing. We've got Legends coming in the fall.
That one I'm really looking forward to.
And we've got the Legends set up to where it should be a pretty big thing. It's going to be a 4-race series, and it's after the oval season finishes, so those guys will be able to comfortably change their setup, not have to worry about changing it back.
Oh, that's right. They do the oval series and they do road course series.
So they should have more buy-in from those drivers to want to, get their setup and be competitive, because that's what prevents a lot of guys from coming into road racing is they mostly do oval. And I don't know what's going on right now, but it looks like Greg having a little bit of trouble there. Chris was able to suck back up on his rear bumper real quick there coming through turn 12 at the top of the hill, although Greg now finding something coming through 14, pulls back away a little bit, but I thought there might have been a mechanical there for a second with how quick Chris came up on him going through turn 13.
I was about to say, he slowed down after he got to the top of the hill and kind of pulled off to the right
And I
side.
say that, and he turns the fastest lap of the race. So here's what I know, Now, that was a minute 20.856. Both drivers turning their fastest laps of the race, although Chris Hune about 0.3 of a second slower than Greg Folger that last time by. And you can see off at the top of your screen the SR1 battle starting to spread out a little bit. Those drivers getting comfortable in their lines and getting spread out. The faster guys get in front of the slower guys. So not too much action to cover there. Right now, this is our closest battle on track. Only a difference of about 1 second last time at the line.
Wow, we're already almost halfway. I can't believe it's
time
moving this
flies.
fast.
But Will Franklin and Jose Avelas are having a good battle right now for 6th and 7th. Jose's leading Will, only about 0.9 of a second between the two of them. And then also a good battle between Pete Folger and Will Layton, only about 0.3 of a second at the line last time by.
Now, with Greg kind of doing that darting back and forth, do you think he's trying to break the air
Yes.
so Chris slows down?
Yes, he's doing that. It also could be how hard he's actually pushing it through turn 16, because if you are flat out through there, that car will pick up and lift all the way to the outside of the track, and you got to rake that thing back in to get set up for the braking zone. And if you don't do it quick, it's only 1,200 feet of straightaway out here on the front stretch, so you run out of real estate real quick, and if you are not on that outside line set up for turn 1, you are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And Chris Hune in a position he's not used to being the one chasing the leader right now. So I'm wondering if he's just trying to be patient, save on some resources a little bit, might save that razzle-dazzle for later in the race.
It almost seems as though he's actually falling back.
And that's what it looks like to me too, but he's got his fast sections of the track. You can see where he clearly picks up ground.
A lot of ground right there, and the
Right.
S is uphill.
But I think he pays for it, because you see how that gets him a little off kilter, and then Greg's just able to pull way away from him.
Yeah, he's already, I'd say that's probably an additional half a second lap time on him
And
from just the last lap.
It could also be the section of the track, because from the camera angle, it is a little deceptive with them going up the hill right there. So it could just be Greg's in the middle of the braking zone as Chris comes barreling up on him.
Yeah, Chris is slowing down. His last lap time was 1:21.615.
I think his tires might be falling off.
I think that's the issue he's running into.
It is hot out there, and this is where it kind of becomes a money game. Whether you try and go, a couple races on your tires, whether you go one race per set.
Honestly, I'd probably go one race per set.
Well, with this being club racing and, there's no money, it's pretty much just pride on the line right now. Most of the racers are probably thinking in terms of, I've got X many races this season. They kind of budget their tires out for the year.
Yeah, because tires are not cheap, especially right now. For a dirt late model, like a 602, you're running a Hoosier 55. The tire cost is like $260 per tire right now, when about 4 or 5 years ago it was like $110.
Yeah,
it's crazy how much the prices.
And
have
it looks like
increased.
we got a pass coming through the carousel right there. That's William Layton getting passed by Pete Folger.
Looks like William Robinson is also directly behind those guys. So that's a potential 3-wide battle for, what is that, 8th, 9th, and 10th?
Yeah, and we'll have to see who those guys are as they come past the stripe. Right now, I know that's William Layton with that bright orange helmet. Easy to pick out from the sky.
Yeah, it makes it a whole lot easier. I wish every driver had.
Yeah, if there was any change I would make to the series, it's the announcers get to pick the helmet colors.
Yes.
Because I'd give everybody bright neon colors.
Well, it doesn't really help me that much, but yeah, go with it.
And Layton was our third-place finisher last year in SR1, so no stranger to this track. And look at this, as he dips to the inside, he's looking for the position. He's going to hug that inside as they come around the backside, turn 14. No. And he's going to have to yield off there because to set that turn up, you at some point have to get back to the outside line, and that's what he did. And just ahead of them right now, we're looking at the battle for 5th. That looks like Nick Pearson and Jose Aveles right now.
Kind of in a small little snake. 1, 2, 3 right there.
And this is your closest battle right now on track.
You going to go for the inside dive bomb? I think that's what he's about to do.
He is. Ooh, he got a
close
little bit, but nope, couldn't do it.
Couldn't close it. In the dirt world, we would call that a slide job.
Yes. And that actually might be, let's see, that might be Fabiani and Pearson ahead of them. We'll have to see as they hit the stripe.
There he goes. He's going for the inside again.
Inside. He tried it again, but no.
Doesn't have the momentum, and he actually lost a little bit of ground
yes,
there.
And that's a dangerous place to do that as well because during the driver's meeting, they were told front of your car has to be alongside the driver's visor for you to be able to have position and for the other driver to have to yield to you. And so if you are not alongside within the overtaken driver's vision, it will be a penalty on you if you try and dive a turn.
Yeah, he's trying to break the air there, but I think he's going to go in for the dive bomb again. He might get a 1 for 2 here.
And that is Aveles, Franklin, and Lowry is what we were watching right now.
It's going to take us some time to get used to that.
And that's Aveles in the front, being followed by Will Franklin and Evan Lowry. And right now, duking it up through the carousel as they make their way down the hill, barreling into turn number 6. Oh, to the inside. That's got to be Lowry fighting it out because he knows this track better than anybody. He came in late last season, only raced half the races, and still managed to get second place overall in SR1. And as these minutes are winding down, he's got to be thinking about where he's going to make that move because these are both cars in his class that he is racing against. Right now, Fabiani is way off in front of him, so he doesn't have a chance of catching up to Blakely. But he can get 2 positions here if he can get around Franklin and Aveles, and that'll put him in second place overall for SR1.
Looks like Franklin had the air taken off of him and I believe that was in turn 13, coming up to the top of the hill.
So this is the battle for 6th overall, second in class right now as these 3 cars coming into your screen right now. into that braking zone, turn one. Oh,
Ooh, that was a close
He
one.
almost got pinched off. Wow.
And he still manages, and he's going to catch up to him.
He is. And that's one of those situations we were talking about. He stuck his nose down there, and he wasn't up far enough. You know, had there been contact, that would have been a penalty on Lowry. And right now they are making their way through the carousel. And just ahead of them, that's Blakely Fabiani and Nicholas Pearson battling it out right now. That is a multi-class battle right there, an SR1 versus an SR3. Fabiani doing a great job holding off Pearson right now.
You know, if they keep battling up there, it's going to allow these three drivers to catch up to Fabiani and Pearson.
Yes, and fortunately Fabiani has got a little bit of buffer because he's got Pearson between him and this pack that we're following right now. But I don't know. We're maybe 2-3 laps left to go in this contest. They're going to be at 17 minutes next time they go past the stripe.
And something's going on with David Mason's transponder. I noticed, you know, he was down at 9 or 10, and I was going to jump in and say, I'm not used to seeing him way down there. And then, boom, he's up to third, but then it said 12th, and now he's on the 13th lap. It's interesting.
I have a feeling they're manually adding his laps. His transponder's probably not picking up. Because that's what it looked like. It stopped picking up.
Turn one's going to be the place where he makes the move. Is he going to clear him?
Oh, to the inside. Yes. 2-for-1 special. Look at that. And that is Lowry to the inside.
I think that might have actually been
Or was that
Franklin.
Was that Franklin
I
getting
think
around
Franklin got
Avelas?
around Avelas. See if we can get a close-up shot of the numbers. It's very hard to tell up here in the booth.
I wish we just radio down. Slow down for a second so we can see your numbers.
The 94 is up front. That was the number that I saw, which happens to not be any number that's showing up on the scoring sheet.
Maybe it was a 6.
Maybe it was a 7.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Maybe it was the Undertaker.
My God, he's a broken man.
I left my cowboy hat at home, Will. I can't do this without that. I also left my URN at home, too.
That might be Lowry because look at how much he is pulling away right now. He just had to get through traffic. We'll need to see. As they make their way through turns 14 through that Eau Rouge section, turns 15 and 16. Mimics that famous turn from Spa. So that was Franklin that got around. So you were close. That was a 6, not a 4.
Ooh, that was close.
That was way too close for comfort. And look how much ground he lost, too.
Yeah, and that's Lowry in the back trying to get around Avelas right now.
We'll get it right eventually.
I keep stumbling every time I say that.
Well, there for the longest time, they had it incorrectly on the scoring tower. So it was, what was it?
Well, he was telling me his parents were watching at home. His family was watching. They're like, you weren't in the race. They kept calling Alvarez. He was like, no, I was there. That was me.
Let me just talk to them.
And right now, Avelas and Lowry battling it out for third place. That is the fight for the podium in SR1. But it looks like the white flag came out, or should have came out, because they will be past 20 minutes this time by the stripe. And it looks like Greg has put a pretty commanding lead over Chris Hune right now. I think Chris I'm sure his tires just weren't there. Probably fallen off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably just cruising his way to the checkered flag.
And I know Greg is going to be ecstatic at this win in SR3 because I think he got the win when Chris was out of town, but I think you want to do it
when
the big dog's here.
Yeah,
you want to beat him fair and square. And so I know he's going to be excited about this one as he takes turn 14 for the final time. Almost catching the end of the pack, about to put somebody a lap down, but just barely going to make it there. And the double checker flags are out as Greg Folger takes the win for the Downforce grid. Radical SR3, Chris Hune in second place with his SR3. And we should see, if the scoring tower is correct, David Mason poking his head around the corner, the final turn here. Let's see who comes out next. I am seeing a 32-second gap. So, yes, that goes David. 24-second gap. So he takes third. So that will be your 1, 2, 3 podium for SR3. Nicholas Pearson just taking the stripe, barely off the podium in fourth. And now we should see Blakely Fabiani and Will Franklin and Jose Avelez make their way around here, as they are probably duking it out on the back side of the track. Hopefully not out there making s'mores like race number 1.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Pearson, Fabiani, and Franklin, followed by Avelez and
Oh,
Lowry.
that must have been a lapped car then. That wasn't Pearson that came by earlier.
Pete Folger and Will Layton round out your top 10.
So that was probably Grant Freeman. Because he is the only other SR3 that I see on track. So that will put your podium for SR3 Radical. The number 29, Greg Folger, is your winner. Number 53, Chris Hune in second. Number 28 of David Mason in third. Your podium for SR1 Radical, Blakely Fabiani, will be your winner. Will Franklin in second, and Jose Avelez in third. Evan Lowry doing a decent job getting it back up to fourth place, starting almost in dead last in this 8-car SR1 field. So good work on him to not lose as much ground to Blakely Fabiani. But once we do the math on the points, it should be pretty close to a dead heat between Fabiani and Lowry.
Yeah, it'll be very, very close. Speaking of a dead heat, why don't me and you figure out a way to get in one of these radicals?
That would be fun. It
Promo
would have to be. It would have
4th
to
of
be.
July.
It'd have to be a single seater.
Yeah. There's no way both of us fit into one. Well, maybe a
Wait, are
double
we doing this
seater.
together in a double?
I mean,
That sounds more fun.
we could. One of us control the brakes, the other one control the steering.
Oh yeah, do a chain race.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a radical chain race.
How much money is that going to run us? Is that our production budget?
More than I have in my spending account right now. And there's Greg hopping out of his car. You know he's got to be excited. I see Chris standing there. Going to see if we can get a word with him real quick. Need to ask him if he's actually sponsored by McDonald's or if he just likes eating there. Or if that's a different Golden M.
Thank you. Nice job. Appreciate it.
He actually had the headset on. He heard that. I'm going to pass the mic, and he's going to tell you about that. Greg Folger, our winner, able to come out on top, and best Chris Hune, who had started at the pole. I guess answer the question first about McDonald's, and then tell us about the race a little bit.
I joke that McDonald's had to pay for that sponsorship. That was part of joining Radical Cup, that they made us put those on the suits last month. So, yeah, Chris and I had a great start. Thought I got a little jump on him and thought we were going to go side by side into 2 and 3 there. And I think I was able to hold him off enough. And he didn't make it easy. For 20 minutes, I watched my mirrors the whole way. And then there at the end, noticed I got a little bit of a gap and just tried to maintain that and hope lap traffic didn't get in the way.
Yeah, there was some conjecture in the booth about we wondered if he was having tire concerns because we noticed his lap time start to fall off there. But you stayed tight the whole time, and of course, beautiful car you got there, and congratulations on the win. And of course, we look for some exciting things from you as we progress through the rest of the season. Your dad racing as well today.
Yeah, he's back in the SR1 today. Unfortunately, having some car troubles with the SR3, but it's still good to have him out here. And, yeah, glad that we got to get that whole race in, and glad Jimmy from earlier was okay, because that was a pretty scary incident. I was coming up to pass the guys when I saw it catch on fire, and that's always worst-case scenario.
Yeah, I had wondered which of the drivers, and so that answers my question. So you did see when the initial flame started coming out the back right side?
Yes, that's correct. So I was coming up. I knew I had a run on David, and I believe it's Jimmy in the SR10. This was his first time out here since I've been. And as I was going up there inside into 13, about the time I was side by side with him, I saw a big puff of yellow, and I go, uh-oh, I think that was a fire. And then as we came around and got red flag, that unfortunately confirmed those assumptions. But like I said, glad to hear that he's okay.
Yes, for sure, absolutely, and yeah. So thoughts are with him as we understand that he had just purchased that car, and yeah. So it in the replay when you check it out later on, you'll see that he left a trail of flames behind him there. So must have been something with the fuel line, but it happens. How about your dad's issues? Will he get those squared away before next race? You think?
Yes, that's what we're hoping, because him and Jack, unfortunately, he was the one tangled up with him a couple months ago, and so we're hoping the wrap should be finished, so his new hood should be here, and maybe he'll be back in the SR3 next month.
Okay, well, we're going to see you right up here on the podium in just a little while. Congratulations. I'm going to check in with Chris Youn and see if our belief was right about what might have been the cause for there was a slight. You guys were neck and neck there, and we thought, I wonder if it was had anything to do with tires.
I think we had equivalent tires going into today's race. He got me coming out of one. We were side by side. He got the inside going into two, and I backed out thinking, all right, I'll find another spot. But I was staying with him in the beginning of the race. A little bit more horsepower in that car. So as the race went on, you could see the gap open up. That's basically me overdriving my tires to stay close.
Okay.
And I started losing grip basically, and just couldn't hang. He drove a great race. Greg drove a great race.
For sure, and we noticed he kept trying to break the breeze between the two of you. It was a great show out there from both of you. So that was right. So you had burned off a little bit more on the tires than you had hoped for.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? That's all you can do. Wait for some lap traffic to maybe slow them down or present an opportunity, but didn't happen.
Yeah, well, you guys are great racers out here. It's always a delight to watch you, and you get a great interview as well. So congratulations. You're on the podium, so congratulations to you, and we'll see you out here next race.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to send it back in the booth, guys, as we looks like we've got Spec Miata on the track.
And they are almost through their formation lap, actually, so good handoff, Chris. How did you know?
He can feel it, them vibrations from the cars.
As Rachel Heiler, pace car driver, is pulling off to the side of the track here. She should be taking her exit momentarily, which means we've got race number 2, Spec Miata, about to get underway.
So are we going to see the E30 of this Rich, right? That was the last name? Rich come back and just finish first?
I think he just likes starting in the split start back there just to give himself more of a challenge.
I hear the James Bond theme. Dun, dun, dun. Or is that James Bond?
No, we can't sing that one.
Yeah.
Do, do, do.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Close enough.
And there we go. Oliver Piatek taking the field to green as your 4-car Spec Miata grid comes barreling into turn 1. Look like Piatek turning in a little early. Bill Miller staying hot on his bumper. As Steven Tyner and Matt White.
No.
Oh, Bill Miller missed a shift.
Did he miss a shift or does he have a mechanical?
No, he missed a shift. And just like that, second back to fourth. Oh. But they're going to take advantage of that, as third and fourth will happily take the free position there.
And
that's
have that
gonna
happen this early is just
and that's going to put Steven Tyner to second, Matt White to third.
Matt White's already looking a little loose.
Yeah, I was
sixth there. He's very slipping and sliding.
Y'all were spot on with what you said about Chris Youn and his tires, and I had wondered if Mr. White would change out since he was so loose that last race. But like you just said, Steven, it looks like he's still slipping.
I think he keeps the good tires on that DeLorean they have, because they've got race slicks on that EV DeLorean, the one that spun out a few races ago.
Oh, yes, the one that had
a
a yellow
lap.
flag before a yellow flag.
Yes.
Looks
it
like we're
was
gonna
that race where the pace car started fourth.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
But right now, your closest battle on the track, Steve Tyner and Matt White. And look at this. Josh Rich already caught up to Bill Miller. He might look to make the pass. Yeah, he does. He goes all the way to the inside.
I'm not sure if he gave him a little bit of a rub there or what happened.
I think he might have.
Hey, rubbing's race.
A little bit of a love tap there. as they sorted out going into turn one. And look at that. Josh Rich already clawing away, got one spot down. And he is going to be hot on the tail of Steven Tyner right now. And we must have missed it, but Matt White got around Tyner. So he is now your second-place driver as he leads that mid-pack through the carousel, through turn 5 and down the dip here into turn 6.
E30's coming with a vengeance.
Oh, he is. I mean, his times are right on with the top times here, so there's no reason he shouldn't catch up because Piatek just turned a 139.13, and Rich turned the second fastest time of a 140.19. So he is only about a second off the pace of your leader, but he is more than a second faster than the two cars in front of him right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how he is able to cut through traffic. Bill Miller off pace by more than a couple seconds. Definitely that misshift cost him some time that last lap. We'll need to see if he's back on pace this time as they make their way through turn 14. And Matt White getting comfy up there. He's got some clean air. Doesn't have anybody hot on his tail. Though,
Not
just
yet.
as I say that,
Not
Josh
yet.
Rice.
Rich is moving.
Yeah,
and
Rich,
he is coming
and
really
he's got
fast.
a run right now, too. He is going to be shoving Matt White by the time they get to the end of this front straightaway.
He's gone.
There he goes. He goes around him on the outside. And look at that in one turn, 2 positions.
Now he's got to chase number 1.
Josh Rich getting by your mid-pack of Spec Miata drivers. And he has got Oliver Piatek in his sights. He's in a better position now than he was at the start of race number 1. It took him about halfway through the race just to get through this pack before he even had a chance to start clawing at Oliver's lead.
We're only 2 laps into it.
But now that he's got some clean track ahead of him, but I mean, look at those times. Oliver Piatek getting his lap times down. He is down to a 137.389. That is good for the current fastest lap of the race. Whoa! Bill Miller and Steven Tyner rubbing fenders, bumping doors coming through turn 6. That is what you love to see at Spec Miata Racing.
Oopsie.
Sorry, I was there.
Sorry.
That's Canadian Spec Miata Racing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that.
Hey, let's take a look at that again. Bill Miller sends it on the inside. Rubbing mirrors right there.
Only going to leave a nice little donut on the side of your car.
Yeah, you just give it the old hawk to it, polish it out.
I knew that was coming at some point in the
Got to
day.
spit on that thing, Steve.
I knew it was a matter of time before that one came out.
Hey, we got to stay current with our memes. And speaking of current, our current leader, Oliver Piatek, just crossing the stripe. Josh Rich in second. Starting to get a little bit of a gap between him and Matt White. That was Steven Tyner, actually. No, that was Matt. I don't know. I guess Matt's transponder must have not picked up that time.
Yeah, I don't think it did either. Speaking of memes, if you want to contribute to the memes, please comment.
Yeah, please like, comment.
Like, comment, share, and we'll continue doing what we're doing.
And they are barreling their way through the carousel right there.
You know, it was really fun doing basically a meme cast last time we were out here. Man, we were taking comments. What was this at? This is a Lanier, wasn't
Or were you
it?
talking about the AXS event
Yes,
at Lanier?
yes.
Yeah, well, that was
We were
6
taking-
hours of not much to call up in the booth.
We were taking comments from the feed.
You know, we were reading lap times every 60 seconds. That was about it. So we had to fill the gap.
Boy, was it funny.
I'm surprised they still let us up here.
You know, I
they
am
haven't pulled the
too.
plug yet.
Yeah. I think Jeremy likes us.
Yeah, as we are.
We bring in views.
Well, we've been doing pretty good here recently, and we appreciate you guys at home that have been tuning in and supporting us. We've had multiple record-breaking events this year. Kart Track has broken the attendance record 3 times. Had our first on-track fire during a race series here, at least since the current era of racing at AMP.
You know, I haven't seen an in the pits fight yet. I don't condone that, but I'm just saying.
Well, and that's at the SCCA events, not at the club racing. It's a bunch of gentleman drivers
You know,
out here
I'm
today.
sorry. I'm used to dirt racing, and it just happens.
And a great shot from Daryl Cannon right there on the FPV drone, showing the new AMP Sky Deck. That was an addition we finished late last year, in full swing now this season, now that we got the furniture and the lights and everything hooked up out there. And definitely a lot of members, and I believe we've got a car club hanging out with us up there.
Welcome, guys. Glad you can come hang out with us on this race day. You've seen a lot of interesting things so far.
It is the Peachtree Miata Club.
Oh, okay.
So shout out to those guys. If you are a fellow NA Miata, or I guess it'd be MX, whatever, Miata driver, I'm sure they take everybody.
Yeah.
Go look them up. Give them a follow. Come hang out. I'm sure they do a lot of fun stuff, like come out and hang at races here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Go on mountain runs. Those are always fun.
Oh, yeah, go hit the Gap or do Blood Mountain.
Well, Blood Mountain's a fun little ride.
I know a lot of guys like to do Wolf Pen from here. We do that, the Extreme Experience Open Roads program here, and they'll take them up there in supercars.
Another one that's really fun that you'll actually see Daryl Kilboy out there would be the Dragon.
Yes, yeah. If you every time we say Killboy.com FPV drone, if that does sound familiar to you, he is the guy up there at Tail of the Dragon. You'll see his signs, you'll see his photographers on the side of the road. So anytime you're up there and you get your picture taken, odds are it's going to be up on his website. So definitely give him a like and a follow as well. He is a big supporter of us here at AMP. He's a Kart Track member, always out there cutting up with the guys on Thursdays and Fridays, and usually cutting up with us in the booth on Saturdays when we're covering the races. And
is it possible to get
and here's a pass right now. Look at this, Bill Miller trying to duke it out with Steve Tyner. He almost had it, but he lost momentum diving in like that. Didn't set him up for a clean exit, and Steve was just able to pull back off because he kept more speed through that turn. But
looks like they're closing the gap on each other there. But maybe we'll see another attempt at a pass, maybe in 6.
We'll see. But Daryl's been flying with us for about 1.5 years. He joined us at the tail end of the 2022 season, flew with us all last year, and has been with us all this year. So big shout out to him. Also big shout out to Jeffrey Farver, our other drone pilot. To be honest, what makes our coverage so good, it's definitely not the announcing.
No.
It's the double drone coverage that we have. And they give us shots that you can't get any other way. And for a club race, you're not going to have a helicopter up there with a cameraman. So, drone's the next best.
We could do that, but the logistics and...
nothing's not possible.
No.
Maybe I'll put that in the budget for next year.
Yeah. Helicopter pilot. Is that going to go right next to the oval track?
Yeah, that'd be fun. And right now we are watching that battle for this is the final podium spot right here. So this is the battle for third. Currently, Steven Tyner is in the lead, although we're just now hitting the halfway point. Anything can happen. Matt White currently has a comfortable lead and a hold on second place, although that could slowly start to go away. Bill's just itching to get around Steve. Steve's doing a great job. He's just elbows out, making himself wide, making it hard to pass.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
That'd be me and you if we were out there.
Oh, banging doors and
yeah,
causing chaos? Yeah, you're probably right.
Dropping parts, stopping hearts.
Yeah. That's what that line was supposed to be originally.
And there goes Matt White off the corner of your screen. And it looks like Tyner might be gaining a little bit of ground. I'm kind of watching that gap. It's about a 4-second gap between Matt and Steven, only half a second between Bill and Steven. But from the looks of it, that gap is getting a little bit wider right now. I think Steven is finally able to get some clean air. Bill keeps diving those turns, and I'm just wondering if his tires have had all they can handle right now.
Yeah, they're all getting kind of squirrely back there. I have noticed that the last couple of laps.
Well, and that's part of the battle when you're driving one of these spec Miatas is they're very much a momentum car. So you are definitely using every bit of the track limits. And you can dip tires off because these cars don't have the acceleration to where they're going to spin out, crazy on you like they would in a spec car or something with just more power. So they're definitely able to push the track limits right up on those rumble curbs and really take advantage of every square inch of real estate out here on the racing surface. And the gap actually closing just a little bit, 3.8 seconds that time. So Steven lobbing off about 0.3 of a second, although at this current pace, we just hit 12 minutes. That means we are 8 minutes to go, and that probably won't be enough to claw away at a 4-second gap. But, you know, again, anything could happen. Matt White, I think, is in a comfortable position, although he can't rest on his laurels. He will need to keep driving a consistent race because these guys behind him are definitely trying to catch up right now.
Yeah, it's not that big of a gap. It's probably about a 3 to 4 second gap between Matt and Steve currently, but that again, that can always change.
Yeah.
Any little thing could throw your race off.
And so, Will, you mentioned some cottages going to be built. So when the drones go over, can you sort of give me some idea of where those cottages are going to be built?
So the cottages are going to be in the carousel. So where you see the water tower, they're going to be on the outside lining all of that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And so, yeah, once they get back over there, we can talk a little bit more about it. The original plan was to actually put them back here in the middle of turn 14, but we have since put that back a couple phases and are now focusing on the cottages that are up there by the water tower.
I'll buy one. You want to go in halvesies?
That would be fun to be able to stay out here, although I don't, you know.
And it looks like Bill has finally done it.
And he gets around him, makes the pass. Oh, but Steven's got a little bit of a run coming up on the inside door. Let's see. They're going to be side by side coming through turn 2 and 3.
Oh, boy, they're close.
Still rubbing.
Oh, and they touched.
And they make contact. And Bill, I think, just barely clipped him coming through, although that is going to be up to the race director to decide.
See if we can get another shot of that.
We'll see if we got that on the replay.
There we go.
And it looks like he left him enough track there.
I think he just came up and got loose.
That looked like Bill actually drove into Steven there. But again, not my opinion to make. That is going to be on the race director. One of the big changes we made this year to the rule book was all drivers are required to roll cameras in cars. So they got to have onboard footage. So that way, if contact is made, both drivers will have to submit that footage to the race director, who will then make the final decision on if a penalty needs to be assessed. You know, one of the big things we do take serious here at Atlanta Motorsports Park is contact, because that is one of the number one ways that you can kill a club racing series. Is you get a hot shot out there and he just, you know, dives into everybody and runs off all your good racers. And so we take a very firm, strict stance on contact. You know, in the drivers' meeting this morning, you know, the rule is you got to have at least, whoa, oh, he locked him up a little bit there.
I think that was more of a tire rub than anything, especially when he started getting the brakes.
Looked like he locked up that outside rear.
I thought it was the outside front.
It was one of those tires.
Outside something.
But I think they are, you know, they're doing a good job to try and keep contact to a minimum, because that's not what we're here for. This is where you're supposed to learn. This is where you get your feet up under you. You know, you could get out here, have a good time, and race. We're not trying to take away the competition, but we're also not going to let you just flagrantly dive bomb every single turn. And so when you see these guys doing that on track, they are taking it into their own hands, because if contact is made, more than likely it will be on the overtaking driver that sees the penalty. And right now, making their way through turns 12 and 13 into 14. We are almost done with this 20-minute contest, about to hit the 17-minute mark, so I would expect to maybe see 2 more laps. Probably we'll see the white flag next time by. I don't think they're going to get it this time, because the leader's already taken the flag.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I think next time by, they should receive the white because we're going to reach 17.
And right now, the gap between first and second, Oliver Piatek and Josh Rich, is 10.5 seconds. Josh running his own race in the Spec E30. Oliver obviously running his own race in Spec Miata right now. He's got an
Tynan.
18-second gap.
Sorry about that,
over
Will.
second.
Tynan just blew past. There's that one particular climb right there. Tynan has just been able to overtake Oliver each time they get in that one spot.
Oh, Bill's got a – ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, that is not
That
good
is
at
a
all. He's going to go
mechanical.
4 off.
I think he locked up.
I
Did
don't
he-
think he
or
locked
no?
up. That's an engine.
Yeah,
That's an engine.
he took that right off track.
He's already got the door open and he's got his belts on and he's getting out.
Mm.
Yeah, that's never good.
Well, that makes the question of assigning a penalty easier since he is, regardless, he is now behind Tyner.
And he's good well off track, and that's going to be a red flag.
They're going to pull the red flag out. That is, with 2 minutes to go? Yeah, that is in a braking zone. You probably want to stop that when they're out there.
Yeah, definitely considering he's out of the vehicle already. I believe that would be another pickup. But
That's a shame. That's going to be our second driver going home in the truck today. Not what you want to see.
I believe this is just an abundance of caution considering the last incident.
Well, I'm wondering if it's the heat. You know, we have tried to make our schedule to where we're not out here in the full heat. But this is the kind of stuff that happens when it gets real hot outside.
Actually,
Especially when you're at the end of a 20-minute sprint race. These cars are getting really hot.
I think we're double checking to make sure there's no full fire going on. They're getting the hood popped, making sure everything's all
Yeah, make sure that's put out.
good to go because he was smoking very heavily. Not sure if he slung a rod or what happened. Radiator just gave out or what?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to find out once Bill gets back in the pits.
Yeah, because that was.
We'll see. Yeah, it looks like.
I can't tell. Oh, I see why they called the red. There was a fire underneath the hood.
Oh, it was a brake rotor. So we're hearing from race control right now that it was possibly a brake fire. And it sounds like that is going to be the end of the race. They're going to put pace car back out on track, and they will finish this one under caution.
Been interesting today.
Yeah, there's been a few mishaps, or just technical, or mechanicals today.
Got very serious mechanical, and then this one as well.
Well, hopefully it was the brakes and not the engine, because I know he would be. It'd be easier to fix that than
Yeah, brakes are easier to
than a
pull
new
off than an
engine.
engine. Whole lot cheaper too. Talking a couple $100 on brakes all the way
Well,
around
if
the
there's
car.
anything I'm sure of, it's Bill will get it sorted out because he has been out here every month with us. He is a big supporter of racing here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
So, Will, that was your design on the door there?
Actually, yes, it was. I have never designed a fire truck logo before in my life, and was asked, "Hey, how can we make this thing look cool?"
Should put one on the hood too.
I think there was originally supposed to be one on the hood, but then we realized the truck was so tall, who was going to see it?
The broadcast.
But then I guess, yeah, we do have a drone. So.
Yeah. Well, then why not?
Well, you would not believe how costly that gold leaf vinyl is.
Well,
And they put that on every single fire truck, and they sell those things in sheets. You know, a typical sheet of vinyl is like $10-$20. That gold leaf stuff is over $200.
Oh wow.
Like
Okay,
a
never mind.
4x4 sheet. So each logo
No
basically
wonder.
took a sheet of that gold leaf. But that's what gives it that reflectiveness. So if you go up and you look at any emergency vehicle, they have that exact gold vinyl, and it's safety spec,
Okay.
which was something I didn't know when we were ordering it. I was you know, the people that we ordered it from also do the emergency trucks here in Dawson County, and they were happy to educate me on that kind of vinyl, and it's really cool. But you know, this is Big Red number 2, I guess.
Big Red number 1.
We
Never forget.
You know, putting she served dutifully.
Yeah. For
And
the
we got
entire time.
And we got the new flatbed out here. Great addition to our fleet of safety vehicles. You obviously saw it earlier in the day in that response time at the back of the track with that suppression tank on there. And that is actually Will Hallman there on the back of the truck. That is our head of engineering, doing a great job out there, leading his team of guys, getting that car recovered. Great shot there of that engine. That doesn't look like much with the engine. It looks pretty clean.
Well, it's not the engine; it's the transmission. Just was
is that
just
what-
informed it was a money shift.
Oh.
Went from third to first.
And I
lost
wonder
it.
if that was from earlier in the race when he did that. If it just
Well, I think it was when he was downshifting coming into from through 5 to get prepared for turn 6, and it was a money shift. So that transmission more than likely is gone.
not what you want to hear, but we have seen crazier things happen. And you know, last season Blakely lost a transmission.
No, he lost an engine.
No, I'm pretty sure that was one race. He replaced it the same day. Drove to
Yeah.
Gainesville, got it, and fixed it.
And came back and
came
finished
back
the
for
final.
race 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and won.
So that is one of the benefits of racing these spec Miatas, is they are fairly simple, I would say. You know, probably not if you've never worked on a car before, but they are pretty simple to keep up and running, especially, you know, when you race something, the wear and tear, the consumables. And so having, you know, a car that is easy on those, you know, means you can get more racing done.
Yeah.
Well, here's a learning moment for me. So finishing under caution. Let's talk about that for just a minute. Where's the rest of the field right now?
So it looks like most of them are on the front straightaway. Until they get this cleared, it'll stay under a red flag. And once the red flag is cleared, they will do a standing yellow for they'll do a full course yellow for the pace lap, and then
Checkers, from my understanding.
So that finishing under caution, are the drivers going to be vying for position or not that last lap, or is it just we're going to go around once and that's the end of it?
They should be locked into their current position, and under the yellow, there's no passing.
Okay, so these are your podiums right here, right?
yes, this will be your finishing order as they come by.
Got it. Okay.
So Oliver Piatek obviously is the winner, and then Rich in second. But he is in his own class because he is in an SE30. He's not in a spec Miata.
So you got White. It's going to take number 2.
Yeah, so Matt White will take the second place on the podium, and that'll put Steven Tyner in third place. That'll be your 1, 2, 3 for spec Miata.
Gotcha. Okay, so thank you for that. So when you're under caution, passing is not permitted. That's consistent in all racing, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, under safety car, yeah, there's no passing.
All right, so let's do a hypothetical while we're waiting then. So let's say drivers are vying for position when the caution comes out, at what point do they have to hold their positions?
Well, usually,
So it's based off the stripe.
yes.
So if
For here,
for here,
if
some places they have a better accurate.
for example, in NASCAR, usually there's 4 loops, sometimes 5 on oval tracks. They got your start, finish, your turn 1, turn 2, 3, and 4. So it really depends on where they hit that loop in their running order. When the yellow comes out, it also is determined again in NASCAR
Well, because
by a light.
when the incident happens, they hit pause immediately. So whatever the scoring system says at that moment is what it is. That's
Yes.
based off of the previous loop.
Yes, and how they have it set up is when in their timing and scoring system, immediately when controller hits the yellow, everything pauses, and it goes based off the last loop that the leader crossed. So, for example, let's see, the pace car is coming through. What is that? 11 right there. So, say that was where the loop was, and let's say Fabiani was in this race. Fabiani would, be in the pace car per se. He would be considered the leader at that point in time, even if he just made the pass.
Even if he just made the pass.
Even if he just made the pass to secure it, if that's where the loop was, that's how it ends up.
Gotcha. Okay, great explanation. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Hopefully I did that right. It's been a long time since I've had to do anything with timing and scoring. Looks like we're going to get all the cars back into the pits now. It's been a very interesting day of racing here today. Started off with a bang, per se, in turn 13, turn 14. In that first pre-final race, got a little hot pretty fast.
Yes, it did, and the action didn't settle down into race number 2. We saw Greg Folger out there, great battle with Chris Hune in that second race of the Downforce field. And there goes your field getting off the track. So that will do it for race number 2 here for us today, and that means Historics are going to be up next. But for us here in the booth, that means we're done with racing for today. So, we'll see if Chris can get out there and get a word with. Maybe we can talk to Bill. I don't know if we can see if Bill's there or maybe grab Matt White. I see Steven all the way down there towards his garage. Yeah, we might not be able to get them, Chris. I think all of them pulled off back to their spots, so none of them are around the building.
Before we go, there is kind of a new addition that
Yeah,
I see in the shot.
we do want to shout out real quick. If you could pan up a little bit, Jeff, just added some solar panels on the roof of the building. We're actually, if you look on the sky deck, they're getting ready to do the same thing with the sky deck as well. So part of our commitment here at Atlanta Motorsports Park to more renewable energy and making less of a footprint, ecologically, and putting these solar panels up was a huge undertaking and a great way to offset the cost of energy here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. And big shout out to Jeremy Porter, to the guys over at the EMC company that put this together and made this happen. We've got them on all the garages up here at the main track. They're fixing to put some on the sky deck as well.
So do you know how much energy those produce?
A lot. I wanted to say it's going to peak should be around 50% of our energy consumption.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty cool, especially if you start moving back to kart track. You could eventually cover 100% and maybe even sell back some electricity back to the power company.
Yeah, and definitely during the months when we're not as active, but the sun's still out, we definitely won't be consuming as much energy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When we're not pumping, 20,000 gigawatts of sound outside the building speakers right now.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. The louder, the better.
So, but with that, we are pretty much all done here for racing at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Couple of exciting classes here today. We will be back at it August 3rd here at the main track, but before then, we have got a couple other events coming up. July 4th will be a big one. We've got the big drift, the 4th of July drift, sponsored by Drift HQ. We've got kart track races coming back July 13th. And then we've got the big amped up event in August 17th. So we got 4 pretty big events coming up. So you definitely don't want to go anywhere. Tickets are on sale now for the 4th of July event. Registration is open for amped up. If you want to come out, you get your driver's bands for that. If you want to come out for kart racing or main track racing, it's free to spectate. So no reason not to come out and join us.
You know, I would one of these days I would love to see eventually a temporary grandstand put up just for spectators.
They do that at the 4th of July thing. They'll truck them in. But in terms of us hosting events, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. As much as I would love to see it, that would definitely take away from the private country club vibes that we have going on here. And, you know, that's what we love about being here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. You can just walk up, hang out on the balcony, watch some racing, you know, go home, tell your friends and family about it, and it won't cost you a dime.
Yeah.
So with that, for myself, Will Rigdon up here in the booth. You got anything else you want to say before we close it off, Steve?
No, I think today is pretty much told itself, made its own story.
And now, Will, before we close out, as far as podiums, are you going to wait until this event's over? Roll right into podiums.
Well, we've got to first. They got to do scoring, and then we'll get the final results, and then we'll hand out the podiums. But we will not stay on air for that. So this will be it for us here on air. You know, Will Rigdon, Stephen Newbold, Chris Conowall, for everybody here, track staff, corner workers, broadcast team, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. So long, everybody.